we'll get started and call this meeting to order. First of all, for what we're going to go over tonight, we know you provide critical services to our county. You do a lot of things for our citizens, so we want to thank you for that. We've got a lot to think about and look over and listen to you guys tonight, and to help everybody out the best way we can. So, and we got 20 plus people presenting. So there's no specific time limit. 10 minutes getting up there may be stretching it out a little bit. So be considerate of the folks behind you and us up here as well. So I'm gonna have is Susie in here? Do you want Susie here? Do you want the backyard a little bit? She
was for the landfill and education meeting, and she didn't realize that wasn't what she was doing.
Oh, okay.
So we ain't got no secretary now.
We just did the changes.
Okay. Well, here we go. We'll get started. We've got Mr. Ken Goose with the Park and Rec, and we'll let him get going.
Good evening. I didn't realize we had so many people this evening, so I'll try to make mine just as brief as I possibly can.
Yes, sir.
All right. Does this actually work? Yes, it works. Okay. For those of you who have been on the commission for a few years, you know what Parks and Rec Board does. Those of you who haven't, I'd like to take just a minute to explain to you what our job is. The Parks and Rec Board was re-established 4 years ago and given the job of providing recreational opportunities and facilities to the people of the county and to our visitors. But that comes with the challenge of working within a very limited budget. Now, every time I say that, I also say that's not a complaint. We understand, we know that money is tight, and we can't be the top priority. We have to figure out how to do the job with what you can give us. And we think we found a way. We work with a variety of partners who take the lead on our projects. For example, the Appalachian paddling enthusiasts who needed a landing on the Doe River below the gorge. The result is Greenbridge Landing Park in Hampton. We put up most of the money, but they provided most of the labor. With the result, we're about to finish a great little park, what we call a pocket park. And it cost us a fraction of what it cost. The way it works is we help them, they don't help us.
Mr. Goose?
Yes.
Speak up just a little bit.
Right. Is this better?
Yes.
All right.
So,
Yeah. Now, can everybody hear me?
Yeah.
You don't want me to start over, do you?
no, you're.
I didn't. So you have a 4-year track record to judge us on. We think we've made good use of the money you've given us. We started with the contribution to the Tweetsie Trail, which turned out to be a huge success. We continued with a community survey that we did with Elizabethan to find out what the people of the county need and want, and that's informed us of everything we've done since. And we used that to write a recreation master plan to guide us into the future. And along the way, well, we've worked on a few projects here and there. As a result, we receive an excellent return on investment. Every dollar you give us returns up to $25 in benefits. And since we work with and through community partners, and they have a strong vested interest in the projects, we have a very good record of success. Now, as you can see, we have a lot underway. Some projects are going to wrap up soon, like Greenbridge Landing and Happy Trails Park. Others are long-term, like Cat Creek Park. Some are very long-term, like the Over Mount Victory Trail. But it's important to note that maintenance is a never-ending and a very important part of what we do. We're committed to making sure that all of our facilities are well-maintained and cared for. We've been ambitious and we've been active, but we've also been careful not to get overcommitted. We're doing some things that will provide an immediate benefit and others that are part of a long-term strategy to make Carter County an ever better place to live, work, and play. And there just doesn't seem to be an end to the opportunities. Every time we turn around, somebody is coming to us with a good idea and asking for help. Now, I think you'll agree that's a big change from the recent past, and it's not a bad problem to have, but we have to be realistic. Some of these projects are modest, but others are going to require hundreds or even hundreds of thousands of dollars to do. And the only way we're going to do them is with lots of local, state, and perhaps even national partners and lots of grant money. Which brings us to this coming fiscal year. And we budget $600 every year to pay for the security lighting at the Veterans Road Landing. For everything else, we're requesting $85,970. As I mentioned previously, as we build parks, we have to support them and maintain them. Our partners provide volunteer labor and what funds they can. Prison crews and county departments help a lot. But still, I'm sure you'll agree that if we're going to have county parks, we want to be able to point to them with pride. We need to put the finishing touches on Greenbridge Landing in Hampton and Happy Trails Park near Run Mountain, and we're looking for a new pocket park project for this fiscal year. We have a number of other projects in the wings. For example, the Over Mountain Victory Trail, we hope it'll start this next year. We've budgeted for planning and engineering of a large park near Happy Valley High School on land we're negotiating to get from TDOT. And for the first time, we've budgeted a maintenance set aside. Now, a couple of weeks ago, you and the rest of the county commission voted to open negotiations with Elizabethton for joint development of Gap Creek Park. As soon as we finish Greenbridge Landing, this becomes our #1 priority. The county has already invested $70,000 in land and engineering. And now it's up to you to decide if it's going to stay a hayfield or if it's going to become a park. We are asking for $50,000 as the county's contribution toward the first year's development costs. We know that's a lot, but we believe it will put the county's negotiator in the strongest possible position with the city. We want the city to see how important this project is to us and understand that we're fully committed to a successful partnership. And whatever money you give us will also be matching funds for an LPRF grant in the spring of 2020. We're asking for $25,000 for the purchase of a small tractor and accessories for the mowing day. We'll use this primarily at Roan Mountain Community Park, but also throughout the park system, and it will help us reduce maintenance and construction expenses because we'll avoid expensive rentals. In total, we're asking for $161,570. Now, that's a big increase from previous budgets. We've reached a critical point in our program. We're out of low-hanging fruit. We have a proven approach that allows us to squeeze every last bit of value out of every penny we spend. Our projects in the future just have to be larger and more expensive, and our facilities, once built, must be adequately supported. The thing we need to emphasize is flexibility. There's so many opportunities, and because we're working with and through partners, when they're ready to go, we have to be ready to go. Which means that if the stars align, and for example, we get the opportunity to develop Benberg Depot along the Tweetsie Trail, well, we have to be able to pivot quickly and go to work. And after 4 years of successfully accomplishing increasingly difficult projects, we're ready. We have a great group of partners to work with. We have a few notches in our belt, and we have proven strategies. And we've proven that we know how to squeeze every penny and torture every dime you give us to get the most out of it. Now, if there are any questions, I will be happy to answer them.
Any questions from the committee?
Got one.
Yeah.
What's coming up on the Over Mountain Victory Trail?
The Over Mountain Victory Trail, the master plan for Section 1, which goes from Abingdon to Elizabethton, has been written, is currently under review by the National Park Service. As soon as they are finished with it, the local partners who raised almost half of the money to do that plan will have to decide whether they want to proceed with building that section of the trail or whether it has to wait. Most of the money that's going to be used on that will have to come from local partners, not the National Park Service.
Okay. And what's the estimated chunk out of that, your current budget that's kind of earmarked for the OVD?
We have earmarked $10,000 for that.
Okay. And can you back up one slide, I think?
Yes, sir.
Sorry. And what the Benberg Depot, what's the hold on that one?
That is still in negotiations between the landowner and the city of Elizabethton, and from the last I heard, it's on hold.
Okay.
You get some info on that, Ken, and Benberg Depot, I haven't heard about that, I don't think.
Yeah, I'm happy to get it to you, and you can disseminate it to the rest of the committee.
Okay.
All right?
All right. Well,
Yes, sir.
You've got $3,300 in your mowing equipment for the Roan Mountain Community Park. It says that's set aside your new equipment. What kind of equipment are you buying every year for $3,300?
We are buying repairs on the equipment they have, and also they have several mowers that are very old. We plan to replace one a year. Now, those are small mowers. The tractor we're asking for is a large mower to do the large areas like the disc golf course, but also it's going to have other accessories on it like a plow and a backhoe that we can use for construction and maintenance.
So what did you say the Denver Depot was?
The Denver Depot is the bright yellow building on 321 across near the high school.
You still put cash on roll?
There are only 3 remaining buildings from the Tweetsie Railroad. One in Johnson City, one in Boone, and this one here, and ours is in the best shape. And if we can develop it as a museum or perhaps for other uses, it will be the showpiece and the centerpiece of the Tweetsie Railroad.
Have y'all considered doing like gift shopping and stuff like that in there for it as well?
Exactly.
To bring in funds for the
Exactly.
Parks and Rec? Okay.
Anyone else?
All right, Mr. Goose.
Thank you all very much. I do appreciate your time.
And we've got a list right here of the outside agencies, but I'm going to move the Boys and Girls Club up on that. They've got some obligations at the club, so we'll move them next in line, please. And if you will, come up and state your name and your organization.
My name is Elizabeth Williams from the Boys and Girls Club, and I've got some handouts for everybody.
We can tell y'all need more.
So last year we requested an increase from the county commission so that we could expand our transportation and increase the number of kids that we're serving. So we're really excited today to be able to report that we are well on our way to doing both of those things. The front of the packet that I showed you is an impact report from 2018. It's going to kind of give you an overview from meals to financial aid to the number of kids that we're serving, just how your investment in our program has really made a difference in the lives of kids. Hopefully that document will just kind of hit the surface and show some of the difference you're making. One thing I did want to point out from that is the fact that we are serving more children, which we had talked about last year. In 2018, we reported 594 kids who participated in our after-school and summer programs alone. And that's an increase from 2017, where we reported 515 kids participating in those same programs. Because of your increased support from the county, also increased support from citizens at large, we've been able to improve and stabilize our programs and really just give a better experience for the kids who truly need it. And we believe you can really see that through the numbers. We've also used our county funding and the increase that you gave us to improve our transportation program. We're happy to report that we're running 3 bus routes right now. And what that's going to allow us to do is it allows us to pick up kids earlier from schools. It allows us to pick them up more consistently. And so not only are we seeing more children getting on the bus every day, but we're improving relationships with schools. We're being more consistent for the families who need us. Not on that sheet, but in 2019 alone, we've gone from serving in January 96 children on average a day. February, that went up to 110. In March, we actually had 124 kids on average coming into our program every day. So we're really proud of that, and we know that that increase is very much reflective of the increased support that you've given us over time. And last year also we unveiled a plan to you all to increase access to our county. We wanted to start a new bus route during our summer months to be able to get kids from Little Milliken, get kids from Roe Mountain, which are very high levels of need. You all know that the families out there really need access to strong programs. And so that's very much still part of our plan. It's part of our strategic plan, which Jenny will hit on, but we are working diligently to start that for the summer of 2019.
The next sheet of paper that you have is our newly developed strategic plan. Here recently in January, our board and staff sat down and really carved out a bold direction for the next couple of years. You can see there are several things on there. We've made a lot of progress over the last couple of years. I think people know that, but we are certainly not done. We want to change lives, and we want to change this community in a positive way. And I think to change this community in a positive way, what it boils down to is we're going to have to continue to serve more kids in better and better ways. So you see that first objective is to provide a life-changing, data-driven program. We want to know that what we do works, and we want to provide the best program in the state, the best program in the region, the best program in the country, because we know that kids here in Carter County deserve that. We also want to ensure that every child in Carter County can be a club member. We talked about this a little bit last year when we were talking about expanding our transportation. Right now, we're only getting to about 73% of the county, and we know that those parts of the county that we're not hitting are the kids that really, if you go back up to our mission statement, need us most. So we want to make sure that we're serving the whole county. And that ties right into serve more kids. We know that to truly change the trajectory for kids in Carter County, we've got to serve more kids. And that includes getting out to other areas, but it also includes serving more kids in our club building right now. The fourth thing that we want to do, and we're going to talk a lot about this, is we want to commit to staying in the lives of teens. Too often now we are losing our 12, 13, and 14-year-old kids, and we know that that's the time when kids are making critical decisions in their lives. They're deciding who they want to be, they're deciding what they believe in, they're making critical decisions for their future in those years. So we want to find creative ways to retain and hold on to those kids. That means investing in team-dedicated staff, investing in team-dedicated hours, because you've really got to do specialized things to attract teens. What attracts a first grader is not going to attract a 14-year-old. We also want to continue to build our financial sustainability. We know that the kids that we're serving now are not going to go away 10 years from now. We've got to continue to serve kids. And I know in 2008 we watched so many nonprofits and Boys and Girls Clubs also close their doors. So we want to know that no matter what happens, financially we're going to be able to serve kids. And then the last one on there is we know we've got to have the right people to make all this progress, both on our board and on our staff, and we've got to invest in our leadership, from the very, very top board member to the people who are working with our kids every single day and really fulfilling the mission of the club.
So when Jenny talked about committing to stay in the lives of teens, that's specifically what we would like the county commission to step up and help us to accomplish. This year on our proposal, you'll see that we're again requesting an increase, but this time we would like for that funding to serve kids at the most critical time of their lives, which is their teenage years. One of the reasons we want to focus on teens is because we know that just how crucial that age group is to our community. Teens are truly on the cusp of being an adult, right? They have more responsibility, they have more freedom, and we know that if we invest wisely in their time and we invest wisely in those individuals, that they can truly develop into the Carter County adults that we need, the people that we need to stick around. On the next page, I don't want to give you all these statistics about teenagers, but just so you kind of see what we're trying to work towards. We estimate that there's over 3,400 tweens and teens in Carter County, right? Last year we only served 261 of them, which is 7%. And if you take out the teens from that group, or the tweens, we only served 120 teenagers. We know that we can do better for that age group. We know that we can help them academically. We know we can give them resources to make healthy decisions. But it requires us to reach more of them and provide those tailored services that Jenny's talking about. We're very much open during a critical time for kids. If you'll look, juvenile crime is going to increase during the weekdays between 2:30 and 5:30, and its peak is between 6 p.m. and 9 p.m. on weekends. Those are times that the Boys and Girls Clubs can actually be available to our youth. Those are times when we can help our teens spend their time productively, and so that they're not finding out that trouble is sometimes the easiest thing for them to get into. We also know that our kids in our county are very hungry. Between 25 and 30% of households in our county are shown as food insecure. So there are kids out there that we're not reaching, that don't know where their next meal is going to come from. And if that next meal comes, it's not always a nutritious choice that's good for their bodies. And we know we can make a difference. By serving more teens, we are giving them healthy decisions, we are giving them healthy meals, we're helping to set them up for success. And there's also a huge need for academic support, which you can see kind of in the last pie graph there. Only 30% of our Carter County students and only 46% of our Elizabethton students are deemed college ready or workforce ready when they're graduating from high school. And we know we can make a difference. We provide academic support. We provide programs like Career Launch and Money Matters, homework help. We're going on college tours with our teenagers. We can really help our kids spend time productively. We can help them get these life skills, soft skills, and we can help them really inspire them to plan for their future. So by getting more of our teens in the door, we know that the Carter County Commission can really make a long-term impact on the community as a whole.
And then on that last page, you can see how we're proposing to spend the increase. We're asking for an $8,000 increase, which would help dent an estimated $17,600 cost to expanding our services to teens. Eventually, we definitely want to open a teen dedicated site. In the meantime, we can expand our teen-only operating hours to really serve teens at a high level. So we could expand our hours to 8 p.m. So that teens are getting more of that experience. A lot of our teenagers don't want to do homework at 3. They want to play and enjoy themselves and then get down to that homework at 6. We can open on Fridays, the We On Fridays. A lot of Boys and Girls Clubs do this. It's just fun Friday time. It gives teens something to do on Friday nights, and that's also a way for us to get their feet in the door and then get them engaged in our programs at another time. Most teens aren't going to say, yeah, I really want you to teach me financial literacy today. But they'll come to a Nerf gun fight, and then we can get them moving, to more productive programs. And then the additional Saturday hours, you look at that weekend crime time, looking at opening just for teens on Saturdays. So you can see that it's going to probably cost us around $17,000, and that $8,000 that we're asking for would definitely help us be able to achieve our teen strategies. We've got a kid at the club now, Mike. He has been coming to the club now for, 4 years, and we'll just say he's had his moments. He spent quite a bit of time in my office, whether it's for fighting or for just general anger. It was, I guess, about a month and a half ago that he threw a really awesome temper tantrum over the fact that we wanted him to wash his hands before dinner. And so we just went through our Youth of the Year process, and we were all a little surprised when Mike said, yeah, I want to participate in Youth of the Year. And that's going to require him to write some essays, deliver a speech, go through interviews, prepare a whole packet of materials for judges. But he did participate, and he got a lot of one-on-one attention from the staff. They really talked about what his strengths were, got those put into essay form. He developed a speech, and you could just watch his transformation over the last month and a half. He just really developed in confidence, really developed in behavior management. He was starting to really talk about what he was good at and not necessarily what he was bad at. And it's like watching a completely different young man. He didn't win Youth of the Year, but it almost just doesn't even matter because just the transformation that he had. And he got to go down to the state event in Nashville last week. And he, I could say right now, is an amazing role model, just an amazing role model for his 4 younger siblings. And watching Mike make that transition and knowing that we've got him as a team and knowing that we can do that with more Mikes, that's what's really driving us to really want to serve more teens. Is watching what happened with Mike and what we know can happen with more teenagers at the club. So we really appreciate all the support that you give. We appreciate all the support in the past, and we appreciate you hearing our proposal today. Thank you.
Questions for ladies?
How many teams do you currently have at the Boys Girls Club?
In a typical year, we will serve around 120 a year. That average, it depends on the school year versus the summer. Right now, we're averaging around 20. After-school program in the summer, we normally average 20 to 30 teens a day. They're not, your 13 and 14 and 15-year-olds, you really want coming on a pretty regular basis. If we've done our job, hopefully those 15 and 16-year-olds are playing sports or getting after-school jobs, and we can still connect with them once a week or so just to make sure everything's okay and help them plan. But yeah, we definitely want to increase that number.
You have Saturday hours now?
No, sir.
Well, thank you ladies for coming out. I know you've got a tough job and you positively impact our kids out down there with youth activities, sports and all that. And when I go in, the kids are always smiling and having a good time. So we appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thank you guys. Next up, we'll entertain the solid waste and sanitation fund.
How we doing, folks? Good.
I'm sure to take care of any y'all want to.
I figured I'd first ask for a new convertible Volkswagen or something since it was April Fool's Day, so.
I saw you in the video when whatever those cars are called. That was pretty good. Pretty good joke there.
I've worked with Brad, of course, last little bit on the budget, and we put some numbers together. And I do have an increase this year, but I have taken on several more pieces of equipment to operate with. That being said, there's more maintenance, tires, so on, for the equipment we're going to be using. Just want to go line item for line item, answer questions or whatever. We'll try to answer anything you want to ask.
Let me ask you about recycling starting to be a big issue with, whatever in China not taking this stuff, other counties not being able to perform that same process. How's that looking for us? Any change or?
The change for us has been we're taking on more material because some of the other counties have opted to not recycle. We have a baler in place, so it's easier for us to deal with the material that comes in. I don't think it's going to be a problem with us. The problem with recycling is it does what the market does. It's up and down. So from month to month, you never know if you're going to be selling cardboard at $200 a ton or at $20 a ton. So it just kind of goes with the market.
Thanks.
Do you have enough, is that a part-time person or a full-time person?
For the pay gym,
The front page. Number,
that's going to be for,
What's your name?
18, yeah.
if I'm not mistaken, that's broke up between two attendants. One for Rome Mountain and one for Elk Mills. Is that-
The Road Mountain is in attendance and the part-time is the other.
For Little Milligan, yes, sir.
Oh, 18, that was for Rome Mountain.
For Rome Mountain only. And also the employees, 2.5% raises in there as well, so.
You have enough personnel, Benny, to take care of all this recycling from these other counties.
So as long as we get inmates, we'll be all right, but we've been utilizing the part-time people that I've hired to help out down at recycle.
But with the part-time and the prisoners, you're doing all right with it?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Do you think we can expand on this recycling, take advantage of this a little bit more, or is it not going to be part of that?
Well, we could expand on it. That being said, the baler that we use now is 92 mil, I think. So to expand on it, we would need to upgrade the infrastructure through the recycle.
What's the cost on one of those?
The baler is about $400,000. That's just the baler, that's not the conveyors and stuff. You're looking at probably $500,000 to do it right and to go towards the future of what's going on.
Well, in Johnson City, they're sending theirs to Ashland, is that right?
I think it's going to Morristown now. Something fell through today, so it's going to Morristown or Knoxville.
Depending on landfill operations, Ken, you got another almost $144,000.
What those are positions at the landfill, whether it be truck drivers, scale operators, equipment operators. That's
For those positions,
yes, sir.
Some of those were moved down from laborers, or moved, spread out among other accounts. We'd like to point out too that the landfill has had a significant increase in the revenue as far as their waste station collection charges. Those are expected to be for 1819, $960,000. So we're forecasting 920 for 1920, could very well be more than that.
I think we're going to break $1 million this year at the landfill as far as from the looks of it, from what's coming in.
What do you think is increasing that? Do you think it's sustainable going forward, or?
We're doing some different things as far as our rental programs. We're renting the boxes out to a lot more people, or noticing that we're renting the boxes out now, so that's bringing revenue in. We're also getting revenue from where the landfill in Johnson City, they don't want any private haulers. They just want the big trucks, so they send those folks over to us. And we're a pay-as-you-throw operation, so anybody that comes to us can use us because they pay for what they get rid of.
How's the brush department going?
We're not burning right now because of dry weather. It will be. I think with what we burnt for ourselves, we done paid for a machine. That was $25,000 we bought last year, I think, so we've already paid for that with what we burnt of what's came in the false pile up there, waiting to have something done with it.
Do you see other counties, other people coming in from out of town to bring that stuff in, or Washington, stuff like that?
Washington I do because Johnson City's not taking brush now. They quit taking it from the public, so. And I think Unical was just getting ready to revamp their whole operation over there.
What's the total amount, because I'm missing it somewhere on here, what's the total amount you guys are needing this year, increase-wise, or total amount that you're looking for?
It'll be in the last column of each page.
Okay.
$1,230,000.
That's 3 zeros in. The original 1920 budget, that's what we're looking at.
So the increase is essentially 165,744,200.
Another important thing about increasing revenue there is that means that much less has to be transferred over from the general fund. General fund needs more revenue.
state give you any, thing on the demolition site when they estimate when it would be closed?
The state will give you that type of estimate. The surveyors that we use, the SNME, they're still saying 8 to 9 years
Still 8 to 9 years?
is what they're saying.
That's good, I hope.
And that all depends on the volume of trash that comes in.
That's great.
You know, if a lot of demolition goes on, then you're gonna be taking on the demolition.
Yeah.
But also in the same train of thought, we're taking out a lot of wood products and burning them because they're not treated, and we're allowed to burn anything that's not treated in our burner. So that's pulling out from what's going in there too.
That's great.
And in this budget also, I've got probably 3 capital requests that I'm putting in here. One being the dump truck. I think we're asking for $15,000 on that, and then $20,000 we're asking to redo the transfer chute that you load the trucks with. And then my loader that runs the demolition, we're at the very near stages of having to put an undercarriage under that loader, looking at about $14,000 on that. So that's all included in this.
Anyone else? It's a lot of wear and tear on the equipment. You do a lot with a little, we know that, and you're always working hard to help us out and help your guys out too, so we appreciate it.
You guys did a great job, and I appreciate it.
I appreciate you.
Getting us on the blue hole and helping and stuff, and all that y'all do for the county.
We appreciate you.
You did a great job.
Thank you, guys.
All right, next outside agency will be the First Tennessee Human Resource Agency, please. Mr. Cody.
Thank you all for having me tonight. I think I know quite a few of y'all, but I haven't met you yet. I'm Jason Cody with First Tennessee Human Resource Agency. I just want to talk about 3 things tonight. First off, kind of explain who we are and what we do. Briefly talk about our funding request, and then lastly talk about what you get for that money, which is the most important thing for you guys. Again, thank you all for your past support. We've been in existence since 1974. We were created by the state. We're a governmental agency. Our mission is to deliver human services to the 8 eastern counties of Tennessee, what was originally the 1st Congressional District, and that's kind of how we got our name. We're an umbrella agency. We operate 16 different grants. Most of them are primarily around elderly services. The 2 most familiar that you probably see every day out in the community are our Meals on Wheels program. We do home delivered meals to every community and then to the county specifically. We do congregate meals as well, and we're in every senior citizen center in all 8 counties as well. Another one of our programs you see every day, and you may not recognize, is NAPTRANS, which is a rural public transportation system. We actually have a garage facility in Elizabethton across from Sycamore Shoulders. You can see the white vans down there. We've got a fleet of about 120 vans that are running the roads every day. And I'll give you some stats about how much services we provide to the county here in a second. But what we do is we leverage those local dollars like you provide us and match it against state and federal funds. So for about every dollar you give us, we match against about $9 in federal state. Talk about our funding request. It is the same as last year. We're not looking for any increase. Return on investment, what's most important to you guys, and I'm very proud of these statistics. Last year, we provided almost 31,000 meals in Carter County. We did 30,801 meals through our Meals on Wheels program. We provided 26,477 trips in the county. We covered 432,000 miles with the vehicles, just to Carter County residents. In total, we delivered services to 1,347 Carter County residents last year. And that was at an estimated service value of $1.5 million. And we couldn't do it without local support because the grants we operate in, more and more, it's not in kind, it's hard dollars because our grantors really want to see that local support in terms of dollars. But we couldn't do what we do, like in our Meals on Wheels, without good community support, not only financially, but from volunteers. We have 500 to 600 volunteers daily in just our Meals on Wheels program, going out and delivering to people's homes every day. As well, the money that you invest in us, we in turn invest in the community. One of the things that I'm proud of, we have 41 Carter County residents that are employees of our agency. And last year we had a payroll of $831,000 for those 41 employees. We do anticipate it to grow as well. But that money in turn gets spent back into the community. So it's kind of compounded and reinvested because those people buy things in the community as well. So that's kind of what we do in a nutshell. And I'll be glad to answer any questions you have. But as always, we appreciate your support.
Cody, I've watched y'all do a great, tremendous service for the county, and I appreciate it.
I appreciate it. We've got some good folks.
So we have any way we can.
Thank you
very much. Just follow along with your packets the way that they were listed up, and I'll give you it all back if who's coming up next also. So we'll move on to the First Tennessee Development District and the senior citizens to follow. Any representative from First Tennessee Development District?
That was human resources.
Well, that's, I guess, Ken Ray, Lottie Runs, and that bunch. If you know what I mean. We'll move on to senior citizens. If anyone's here.
Hi, I'm Kathy Dill. I'm the director of the Elizabethton Senior Center. And the mission of the Senior Center is to do everything possible to improve the quality of life for the elderly in our community and provide services to those that are 60 and older. Last year, we served 565 clients and 75 homebound meals are delivered daily in Carter County by volunteers. An average of 75 attend our center daily, and the majority that we serve is 79 and older. Our services include daily lunch, transportation to and from our center, which we use NetTrans, he was just up here, and we go shopping twice a week, educational programs, health screenings, elder abuse awareness, crime prevention, nutrition, volunteer opportunities, and activities with children in the community, such as reading programs and hosting groups from the elementary schools. An increasing interest is in physical fitness, and we provide classes in yoga, aerobics, Zumba, line dancing, dancercise, and a well-equipped fitness room that is used daily by approximately 40 people. We've been offering evidence-based healthy aging workshops on living with chronic conditions, diabetes, cancer, and Walk with These for arthritis. Coming up, we're making plans to have programs on adult illiteracy and grandparents raising grandchildren. We are currently partnering with the Public Library and Congressman Phil Rowe's office to set up interviews with veterans for a Veterans History Project, which will be a publication that will be in the Library of Congress, and we want our Carter County veterans to be included. We have had 3 interviews so far with World War II veterans, and they will be coming again this month to continue. I had a 96-year-old man call today, a World War II veteran that wants to be included in the interviews. We provide recreational activities such as bingo, arts and crafts, billiards, bowling, card games, and painting, as well as special activities for the holidays. Last year, we distributed 80 Christmas tree bags of fruit and candy, and 37 homebound gifts were delivered. We served Thanksgiving lunch to 100 people and had a veterans breakfast that was free for all veterans. All of the activities and fundraisers we have are provided with help from volunteers. They help with everything we do, from daily programs to fundraisers to delivering the homebound meals. We cannot provide the many services and programs that we have at our center without their help. Older adults have problems of isolation, malnutrition, depression, victims of scams, abuse physically, emotionally, and financially. Those that attend the senior center regularly live a healthier lifestyle, have less depression, and are less likely to be involved with scams or be a victim of elder abuse. We empower our seniors with education. We give them a place to find fellowship as well as improve their health and well-being. The population of our community is currently 25% over the age of 60, and this is increasing, and as this increases, so do the need for our services. In the past year, we have had 115 new members. Funding comes from the City of Elizabeth and Carter County, United Way, the Area Agency on Aging and Disability, and fundraising projects and donations. The community is responsible for the care and well-being of their children, elderly, disabled, and those in crisis. It is more cost-effective and efficient to provide a percentage of the budget of each agency to help them provide these services rather than to try to provide them through county offices, which simply would not be possible. I speak for all outside agencies, not just the senior center. All of us work together in making referrals and networking to provide a high level of services to our community. Last year, we received $14,584 from Carter County, which was 12% of our budget, and we ended the year with a $7,800 deficit. This year, we're requesting $23,000, which is 19% of our budget, which will be an increase of $8,416. It's been many years since we've had an increase, and we really need help if at all possible this year. I do know you have a very difficult job. I just have one budget to deal with. You have a lot. I also have some brochures I'd like to pass out. That gives more information, and if you know anyone that you'd like to refer to the center or that needs homebound meals or any kind of services. Are there any questions about the senior center?
What kind of fundraising do you get to do?
Fundraisers are a little difficult because we don't have a lot of manpower, but every year we do apple butter. That's our big one. And we make apple butter and we sell that. And that brings in a lot of our budget. And then we have breakfast buffet fundraisers. About every other month we have a breakfast. This year on April 26th, we're having a buffet with the ETSU Bluegrass will be playing. And we usually average about 150 people at the breakfast. So you should come, April 26th, 7 to 10. Very good food. Any other questions?
Ms. Dooley, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Entertain the Department of Agriculture, and the library can go next. Department of Agriculture. Ms. Barksdale, you ready? Volunteer fire departments to follow. Hey, are we ready? That should be the question.
Y'all should do that too. I'm like, today. I'm tired. I've been working all day, so y'all look out today. I'm gonna use your PowerPoint. Is that for the mouse? Well, we need that. I know, you trying to not.
That's it.
I confused it before. Good evening, everyone. So I'm here to represent the library, and I know y'all love me and I love y'all. So first off, I want to thank y'all for the $65,500 that you gave us last year, because with that, we wouldn't have been able to do a lot of our cool stuff that we do at the library. So once again, I want to thank you for the $65,500. So a lot of times people ask, what's the purpose of the library? You know, everybody says books, 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 books. Yes, we do have books, but we also do other things as well. So the purpose of the library, of course, is to circulate books and information for free, or close to free. And I say close to free because if you turn it in late, guess what? We give you a little charge of 10 cents per book or $1 for DVDs. So make sure you turn your DVDs on time. Also, we provide a community space for people to interact with information. We have tons of spaces that you can use in the library. We have a law room, we have a study room, a meeting room space, and an archives area. So in that 13,000 square foot library, there's so many places that you can go and do cool things in the library. Because I always say having fun isn't hard when you have a library card. So you can always come in and have fun with us. Also, we give people the tools necessary to manage information in a sensible way. Because you can have tons of information, but if you don't know how to manage it, we're here to help you. We're here to help you find resources. So whatever you're looking for, you come to the library. And we have a place with archived information, which is our archives. I say we have one of the best archives area in Elizabethton. Even that little small space, we have all the information about Carter County, about Elizabethton. We have a genealogy club that meets every second Thursday of the month. And you can come in and learn about all the cool things about Carter County. So we worked on a mission statement because you know mission is what your library is supposed to be or what your organization is supposed to be about. And we worked hard on it. And you didn't know this last year, but this is our new mission statement. The mission of Elizabethton Carter County Public Library is to inspire lifelong learning, foster outreach, encourage personal growth through our wide variety of resources and programs. And I feel like that hits the mark every day. When we come into work, we're always trying to do something. We want people to want to learn. We want to make sure we're doing a lot of outreach. We want to make sure there's growth. And we always want to make sure there's resources and programs. Our vision, which is new as well, Elizabethton Carter County Public Library, will preserve the past, serve the present, and transform the future. That is what we're all about. We always want to make sure we know where we're coming from, know what we're doing, and make sure we can change for the future. So that is what our vision for the library is. So who uses the library? Everybody. We hit every walk of life. We want to make sure that we're getting all the population. So we have preschoolers, grade school, young adults, families, elderly. We always want to make sure we're hitting everybody. So what can you find in the library? Of course, we're going to say books. But of course, we have all different formats of books. We even have Spanish books, so people who come in who just speak Spanish. we have books as well for them as well. We try to hit every part of our population with different formats of books. AV material, we have popular movies. I'm not gonna be a red box, okay? I'm just gonna let you know, I only have a $45,000 book and collection line item. So I'm not gonna be a red box, but at least with our little jewel, we make sure we get the best DVDs and audiobooks. Right now, Aquaman just came to the library. My whole team was freaking out. I'm like, okay, patrons have to use it. We cannot have a whole list just on staff. But, but the thing is, we try to have those best releases. Audiobooks, you'll be surprised. Audiobooks cost about $65 to $70 for one audiobook. So with research, I was able to find a company that would give it to me for $35. But you would be surprised how one book would normally be $28 after you do the processing and everything else for the library, ends up being $36 or $37. So we have to make sure we're doing everything we can to help the library. Also, we have computers with free internet access. We're one of the only places in Carter County where you can get free internet access. So people come in to do anything from business to doing their homework. The only thing you have to do is have a library card and have it in good standing. And of course, genealogy research materials. Go to our archive room and you can find anything that you're looking for. So one of the best things that we have is a partnership with the Holston River Regional Library. This partnership happened in 1946. This partnership has to continue in order for this library to work well. Through this partnership, we're able to get free courier services. So that means if we don't have a book, we can call Gray or we can call Johnson City and get that book to our patron. Because the thing is, I have a 13,000 square foot library. I can't have every book in the world. So with that courier system, I'm able to make sure my patronage get what they need. Also, we have a shared automation system, which is our Cersei Dynex. And we did this alone. That system will cost me over $100,000. But with being a part of this region, I pay $9,000 a year to have that system so we can check out materials and find items. Also, I'm able to get printed materials on discount with that organization. And also, I'm able to get training for my staff and also ask questions. So this organization is one thing that we're blessed with what happened with the library. So let's talk about state funding. Last year alone, we had about $25,000 worth of material given to us by the state. So with that partnership, with me doing the surveys for the state, following the state guidelines, I was able to get an extra $25,000 so I can get printed materials, DVDs, audiobooks. So that means my line item jumped from $45,000 to $70,000. So with that partnership, that was a blessing. Also, I was able to get $6,000 worth of new technology, so that means new computers, new software, because the library has to stay up on the trends. We can't use the same devices because as a library, we need to be innovative. So with that state funding, we were able to do computer classes, also get new computers and software. So I just want you to puzzle on that number real quick. I love showing you that number because sometimes you just don't see it. You don't understand why I keep saying 65,500. I want you to look at the city. That's interesting. So I just want you to, look at it real quick. I don't even need to say the number because you see it. Your number's in red. The city is in black. So I want you just to think about it. We're going to go on by the slide, but I don't need to repeat it. But thank you for the $65,500. So what I'm requesting for is $100,000. What I need is $100,000 for? Well, $10,000 of it is going to be for more technology because we have tons of patronage coming in every day. And they're doing homework. They're looking for jobs. Our numbers are going up because this is a hard time. People are trying to start their own businesses because they can't find jobs. Or some of them just can't be qualified. So they're always looking. So we need to make sure we have our computers ready to go. Also, I'm asking for $12,141 for an extra part-time person. The reason behind it is because we have a lot of people coming into the library. We have so many activities, so much outreach going on. To have that extra person, we can make sure we're giving that great customer service. And also 77,859 will be for operational funds. And that's dealing with software, more, more books, processing fees, just to make sure we're staying at the cuff of new technology. We also would like to get a 3D printer because, STEM, we also do a lot of classes like ACT workshops, and that money will also be able to help us with paying that tutor to do that as well. So once again, I just wanted y'all to look at the budget, and I wanted to show it in a pie graph because a lot of times you can see the number, but you're like, okay, that's a number on the chart. But when you look at it, last year you gave me 10% of my budget, which I'm thankful for because you didn't have to do that. But the city gave me 90% of my budget. Next year I'm asking for an increase. I'm not asking for you to be 50-50 with the city. I get that. That's not possible right now. But I'm asking you to increase about 5%. So instead of the city doing 90, they do 85% and you do 15. I think that's very reasonable. I know you have a lot of budgets that you have to look at, but a little 5% bump will actually that brings that partnership to show, hey, we're trying to work together in this. So who's using the library? A lot of times people say people don't come to the library, that's a lie. 62% of my patronage is coming from Carter County, 62%. 38% is from Elizabethton, and that number increased because now the city is realizing a lot of our patrons is like, oh, the library is cool. So we're getting a lot more people from the city to come in and use it. But you still have over half of my population, and you're giving me 10% of my budget. So I just really want you to ponder on that real quick. So this is exciting. Last year, the hours of operation, we had 2,600 hours of having the library open. That's a lot of hours for a team of 11, that's including me. And the total circulation with our READS program and people checking out was 226,634. So that's a lot of checkouts for a small little jewel of Elizabethton. And we're just proud of that number because that number is always increasing. A lot of times circulation is going down. But here, we're having more people coming in that door. So that's just, we're not the normal trend of a public library. So that's amazing to see that number increase. So the programs, I want you to, out of a total of 11, including me, we had 600 programs in the library last year. That is a lot of programs. I don't know if we're going to come in half the time. It's really sad. I dream about the library because we're so invested in this community. And it's just great to see that we have 250 adult programs and 350 kid programs. And this is just a few of the programs. I'm not going to read them to you all, but that's just some of the programs that's happening in our library. Right now we have the adult crochet group that's going on right now. And each program is like a family. I made it to almost like a community group. So every time there's something, you know who's going to be there, and they just love on each other. And that's what it's about, creating programs that your community want to be a part of and want to come to on an everyday basis. And this is just a couple of partnerships. The partnerships is what's making this library survive and grow. We want to be on the table with everybody. If there's a nonprofit, we want to be a part of it. We want to make sure that the library has a voice in it. And that's just a couple more partnerships as well. So why am I here asking for money? We have some standards from Tennessee. In order for us to stay in good grace with the state of Tennessee, we have to follow their guidelines, their rules, what they want for the library. So we are a level 5. And the reason why we're a level 5 is because Carter County is a part of it. We have over 57,000, well, we went down a little bit to about 56,000 people in Carter County, so that makes me a level 5. According to Tennessee, level 5 is the highest library you can be. So they have some standards. They want me to have 9 full-time, 9 part-time. I would never be able to provide that with the budget that I already get from y'all. So right now, like I said, the state is okay. I have always said, we're not gonna get there. I'm trying to plug all the rest of the standards that they want, so they can leave me alone, because of the fact that I'm never gonna reach that with 10% of my budget coming from y'all. So right now, I have 5 full-time people and 5 part-time people. I can say I have 100% of my staff that have a BA or some type of college experience. Now, I don't know if all departments can say that, but I'm blessed to have that. Right now, I have one other girl who's getting her master's. She should have it by May. I will have 3 people who have a master's of library science in my building. Some locations can't say that, but to have that type of knowledge in your library who's helping your patrons and your community, that is a blessing. And they're not getting paid their worth, but you know, it's not about the payment, it's about doing what you love. And if I can make sure my team is loving what they're doing, that's the main thing. So, and I just wanted to show you some of the programs that we have. Storytelling at the library, we do that with the adults. ACT workshop. This has saved a lot of our students in Carter County. They're coming to my library to get ACT training. We had some kids that went up 5 points by coming to this training. You know that's huge, that's scholarship money. So it is scholarship money, you want your kids to get all the money they can possibly do. I had someone come all the way from Asheville just to get ACT training. And so that's a big thing to have somebody drive from Asheville to come to Carter County just to make sure their child can be ready for that ACT test. Also, we have women's self-defense. So it's just for women, sorry guys. So if you want to learn how to defend yourself, this is a great class, free of charge. We also partner with the East Tennessee Youth Ballet and Academy. We help with the Nutcracker. Of course, Harry Potter. We had about over 60 kids at Harry Potter. I love Harry Potter as well, so it was fun for me as well. And then also just some of the improvements that we've done in the last year. We redesigned the kids area and the teen area, so they felt like they had their own space. We revamped the deteriorating ramp that was falling apart, because we know we're not going to get a new building, but we got to love on what we have and let them know, like, we love your building. And so, what is the future of the library? Of course, I'm asking for more technology, because we have to have it in order to stay current. I'm asking for another staff person, so we can handle all the outreach that we do, all the community events that we do. Also, I want to give all equal access to Carter County. And that also means if more money comes, then maybe we could talk about satellite libraries that I've been hearing back and forth. But it comes with income. I can't do the satellite without the revenue. Also, we have to continue being the hub of the community, which I feel like we are. We partner with a lot of organizations in the community. And I want to thank you for your support. And remember, all roads lead to the library. Any questions?
So in the past 5 years, have you seen a decline in people using the library?
Well, in some areas they have, but not with our area.
Okay.
So our trend is different from what the other trends are, because more people are coming into the library because they're knowing they can get one-on-one help. We do one-on-one computer training. So they can set up an appointment with me or my technology person, and we'll do training there. We also have computers just designated for looking for jobs. So then after that, I'll help them with their resume. And also I do one-on-one interviewing skills. So they'll come back when they have an interview, and they'll come back dressed ready for an interview. And we'll actually sit down and I'm actually giving them an interview so they can be prepared. So it's not just about the checking out, it's about helping the community as a whole. We also did several classes about how to manage your money, how to be safe on a computer. Because, you know, you can give your parents or, you know, friends a computer or even a smartphone and you don't realize what you're doing. And someone says, hey, can I have your social? Or you're thinking you're doing a program that's safe, and you're giving out your checking account information. So we've also did classes like that. We also helped the senior organization about computer safety. So it's all about being a part of the community. So we're not following the trend because our door counts are going up each time.
Do you see it more? Do you have like an age discrepancy? Like I would assume it's more of the older generation using it than the younger.
Well, right now our children are really strong. Our baby classes are, we have a lot of bouncing babies and all that, that's great. Right now, we're also hitting on the teen population. I just hired a teen librarian probably like 3 or 4 months ago, and we're really hitting on that teen population. Because they were coming in after, getting out of school or leaving the Boys and Girls Club and nothing for them to do. I didn't have a program for them. So now I have a teen librarian, and actually now we're doing teen crafts. So we call it Teen Tuesday. So they actually have a snack, we do clubs with them, and we also help them with homework as well.
We know we've got some grants attached to one of the LIT grants. What was the other grant?
The other one was called the TOP grant, and that was training, oh Lord, I always forget the acronym, but it was also training opportunities for the public library. And that one was basically for computers and also for classes. So we were able to pay the instructor $50 per session. And so he would teach them different basic computer classes and for like an hour. And also I was able to get, through that grant, I was able to get 2 laptops.
Something else you didn't touch on they might need to know about is you have a small RAM clinic, correct?
Yes, I forgot about that. I didn't even put the slide up. Last year we did a RAM clinic. And that clinic was, I noticed that we were having issues with a lot of people who were coming in from the community. You could see that they didn't have glasses, they couldn't see. You could see, their teeth was not in the best shape. Because a lot of times people don't have insurance. And I get that. So insurance is expensive, especially if you're paying it out of your own pocket. So what we did was, we had a RAM clinic, and we brought the people down, and we actually did it in my 13,000 square foot library, which that should have never happened, but you need a big field or a big space, but we realized there was a need. So in that 13,000 square foot library, we were able to give people free glasses, get their teeth cleaned, also get their teeth pulled. They were able to get, some people pull 8 teeth, that was the max. You can get 8 teeth pulled at one time. Yeah, I was passed out because I was walking through and helping. I was like, 8. You couldn't have got that much Novocaine. But, but 8 at a time. It was great. Through that services, we did about $50,000 worth of services in our library. We helped, and pretty much all of the people there were from the county. One woman said she hadn't been able to see in 8 years. Now, driving in this area here, I'm not from here. Like, if you live in certain houses, you need to make sure you can see. And so for her to be able to say she couldn't see for 8 years, and now she can see, that made me happy, because some of these places, if you make a wrong turn, you walk them out. So, I'm a city girl. We don't do these mountains. And so, it was just great to realize that we impacted the library. We impacted our community by just seeing the need. And that's the thing. I always say it takes a library to raise a community, because we see what our community needs. We see what we're missing. Because we talk to every walk of life who comes in here. And we're like, how can we help you? How can we get you the resources? And that's what it's all about. And when I realized that we was having a problem, I asked my person at the time, Rebecca Duggar, I was like, can we do something? And she's like, let me call the RAM clinic. I was like, okay. And so, and I'm blessed with the team that I have, because when I throw something up in the universe, throw it out in the universe, I was like, now I'm gonna throw it. And I need somebody to catch it. And I have a great team that they'll catch it and figure out the best way to help our community. And just exactly just for jobs, because there's a lot of times you want to help and they don't know how to even interview. You'll be surprised. People don't know how to interview. And so when I have someone who calls and says, I need help, and I'm like, what do you need help with? Because I'm always applying for a job, get to the interview, I can't get it. I just can't understand why I can't get it. And I'm like, okay. I said, you don't know me today. I'm not Renita, the librarian. I'm going to be the person that you're interviewing for a job. Now I want you to dress, I want you to have your resume in hand. And so you'd be surprised when they put that outfit on and get ready for the interview, their whole body changes. And so to get them prepared to understand, like, this is how you answer that question. This is how you look confident. And I also help with Red Legacy. I had those women get ready for interviews. I looked at their resumes, because it's hard to find a job if you've been in jail. or you done something wrong. Sometimes we're just blessed not to be incarcerated. You know, so if you have a blemish on that record, sometimes that's just the nail on the coffin. And so you're competing with everybody else. But so for me to get these ladies ready for interview and tell them, wear your best so I can see what you got. Because sometimes their best may not be interview nice. So just to know, okay, this is how you dress. If you got a pair of khaki pants and a nice button-down shirt, that's all you need, honey. So, just to be a part of the community, that's what the library is here for, to help our community, help them grow.
My kids love the library. The summertime is when we spend the most time there. My wife is school nurse, so she's out during the summer, so that's when they're there the vast majority of the time. I think you guys do a fantastic job in there with things. I know that you had said that you found a different vendor for some of your books and audio books and things like that. What other measures are you taking to make sure that you're cutting costs and making sure that you're getting the best price from like your paper vendors, your computer vendors, and all those different things? Or are you locked into only being able to go through certain ones?
Well, when I get state stuff, I'm blocked in. Because Pomeroy, I love them, but sometimes they can be a little bit higher, but they have all the stuff that I need. However, with stuff that I can purchase, what I do is I do a bidding war. Like I'll call, if it's not over $10,000 and I can do it in-house, I'll just start calling people. And I'm like, give me a price of this. I used to go against Staples and Office Depot. I'm like, tell me what you can do. And then I also call Quill, tell me what you can do. Because if I can get it better, I'm going to get it better. And I also found another vendor. His name was Howard Technologies Enterprise. Called him. I gave him all the list of stuff that I wanted to see which one would give me the best price. With paper, I have been all over the place. Like, I really, sometimes I even hustle people. Like, hey, can you get this a little bit lower? I will, if you can get me $1 lower than what Staples just told me, I'm going with you. Because the fact is, we have to do the best that we can do for the library. And also, like now with Barnes & Noble, they have given me an institutional card. Things are cheaper with Barnes & Noble. So instead of me going through what Ingram is spending $1,000 for 30 books, I can go to Barnes & Noble and they cut me a little bit of a discount, a better discount than maybe Ingram would have. So, it's just every day I'm on the phone with a vendor to see if I can get a better deal.
Okay.
All right, we appreciate all you do, certainly your passion and enthusiasm.
Thank you.
Take your son.
And with that, we'll take about a 5 or 7 minute break real quick, just to give us a chance to catch up real fast. It's got a list of kind of the order we're going on, and Mr. Roberts and Mr. Arnold have that. I think they're going to pass that around, so you will have some kind of idea of where you fall on the list, but that's no specific order by any means. So, let's see. So we have volunteer fire departments and children's advocacy will follow. Mr. Jones.
I'm David Jones. I'm the chief at West Carter County Fire Department. Also currently serve as the president of the Carter County Fire Association. Here on behalf of the 7 Carter County volunteer fire departments. This Sparksville is a tough act to swallow. Might not be quite as engaging. I will say, if you do have that problem and run off the mountain, we've got some great emergency services in the county that will come get you. Last year in the county, the volunteer fire departments responded to 1,134 total incidents. That's a 29% increase since 2016. You see our numbers have gone up a little bit there each year. We've got about 140 active members in 7 departments throughout the county. And I just threw in some technology.
Let me see.
Forward, which what the next, but just some photos of some of those incidents in action. House fire at Watauga, car wreck. You might have to stand up there because I'm going fast. You won't keep you here long. Car wreck on 1980 in Hampton. Our members in 2018 spent over 12,000 hours responding to incidents, training, and fundraising. So we got a lot of guys putting in a lot of time. We do a lot more than just fight fires. That's sort of become the lesser of the thing we do anymore, it seems sometimes. We do a lot of community type service, clearing trees out of the road, pumping out basements. You can hit the next slide.
Is your clicker switched on? Is it red or red?
I stepped through there the other day, and their next fire department, you got a junkyard up behind there, up in there.
You may need to sit the laptop on the rail so it's got a clear shot.
And I also know you got a women's brigade down there that's
It's because I just, here's, one of the departments clearing the roadway.
It's all over it.
Can't get it to work.
That's weird, right?
They seem to pumping out basements, back up one. Just wanted to highlight it. Moving forward there, one.
People work together.
Just wanted to highlight something we're pretty proud of in the volunteer departments, and really we've got the city department to thank for that. They helped us get a 64-hour basic fire class set up. We had about 25 members from the various departments attend that who obtained their basic firefighter and hazmat certifications. So that's the first time we've been able to do that in the county. That's something we often struggle with, is training and where we get the training and how we go about doing a lot of that. So that was a huge help to us. And Chief Carrier and Chief Murray, they spent a lot of time, and they provided the facility and the trainers and the people to help with the skills days. So that was a good accomplishment, we felt like, for us this past year. That happened in January and February. Other kinds of training we do, fire departments aren't quite as regulated as EMS, but we're getting there. We've got a lot of state requirements that we have to meet now. That list is just a small part of some of the other training we have to do yearly or every other year. And these are just some photos from that 64-hour class.
What is your insurance rate for down there now?
In the West Carter end, we're a 5. Watauga is also a 5. Central is also a 5. Stony Creek is a 5. So we've got several departments that have improved those ratings.
That's improved the last few years.
What's the max rate?
A 1. So it's 10. 10 is basically no fire protection. A 1 is the top ISO class.
It'll work sometimes.
We're currently operating out of 12 stations. Stony Creek just built a new substation up at the head of the creek. We've got 13 fire engines in the county. The average age on those engines is 18 years. We've got 27 other tankers, brush trucks, sport units. But the county departments, and because of your all's support, have really done a good job, I feel, of upgrading their equipment. We've got some really nice fire equipment in Carter County, and that was just a picture of some of that from some of the different departments. Those are all Carter County departments. So we've got some really nice equipment and trucks, and it's been because of the county's support. That has really helped. And the departments have done a good job of, buying good quality equipment now, not buying junk, not buying stuff that has to be fixed, and you just end up having a money pit with trucks like that. So we are requesting a slight increase this year, the $60,000 per department. The $15,000 grant matching, we sort of changed it this past year where we could use it for grants or training or radio maintenance. That allocation has been there for several years. That's not really a change on that one. So our total funding request is $435,000, $60,000 per department. Mostly, the things we need are firefighting equipment, trucks, turnout gear, a new set of turnout gear, just a coat and a pair of pants. Almost $2,000 now, just for a fire coat and fire pants. To fully outfit a firefighter in PPE, turnout gear, is about $2,500. And that's not for top of the line stuff by any means. It's just your average stuff. SCBAs, which are the air packs that you see firemen wear going into structures. The price on those has gone up every year. They're close to $8,000 now a piece. So, when you get a firefighter fully decked out with an air pack, a thermal imaging camera, and turnout gear, you're looking at $20,000 worth of gear that he's got. One need that is coming up is I know other agencies in the county are looking at radios. We have to be able to stay compatible. So, that to me, that needs to be like a county-wide decision between all the agencies of what direction are we going to go. Because you can talk to 3 different people and you'll get 3 different answers as far as this is the best, or this is the best, or this is the best. All the radio systems are going digital, so we're analog still. So that's going to be a need, certainly in the future. That's pretty much it. Just want to give you a little bit of information about the departments. The picture here is of our group at West Carter. We stand duty at night, so we have somebody at the station every night. And these girls have been through all the training, can fight fire, can drive a truck, can put the pump in gear. I feel very comfortable with them there. And they stay one night a month as one of our duty crews. So they've got a little publicity lately. So.
Yeah, good feature in the JHL, I think.
Yeah, it's a good argument. So. But be glad to answer any questions I can. You got any?
Well, you're asking for 20,000 increase.
It's actually not according to what our line item was this year in the budget. It's only $5,000 increase.
Yeah, the sheet you have there, a little bit wrong, it should say 420 is the request instead of 435. I think it was just an addition of the 15,000 for the grant and then the others.
Right.
To change the sheet right there.
Firefighter grant down right This is bigger than twice.
You do a great job with what we have.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Only question that I've got is do you guys have a plan in place to continue to try to improve the fire department so it continues to bring insurance premiums down for everybody else in the county? I know some areas it's a little less than a 5, and
Yes, and we're trying to work through the Fire Association with those departments who need to go through that process and help them identify the things they need to do and the things they need to work on. Most of the departments, they just haven't been through the process yet. They would drop, their rating would drop just by getting graded, just based on the equipment they have now. But we're trying through the association to help the ones that need that little push to get there. It's a hard process. For a county volunteer fire department, it's a huge documentation and it's just a hard process to go through. Until you've done it, you kind of can't figure it out. A lot of it depends on your water system. So, Rome Mountain and Elk Mills don't have the greatest water system, so it'd be hard for them to go really much lower than a 7 or 8 probably. But any drop is a savings.
Yeah, I mean, and that's what I'm saying, is basically, it's like if you get a drop in a particular region, almost, for the people there, it's a huge offset on their insurance.
Yes,
So.
can't read.
Anyone else? Mr. Jones, we appreciate your service. You got a lot of brave men, and you certainly take pride in your work, and brave men.
Thank you.
Yes, I made that correction. We appreciate every one of you.
Thank you. We appreciate y'all's support.
Thank you.
We're really good business.
As soon as I said that, that was in my mind before I said it. All right, let's see. Everybody follow along pretty good on your path. Sure, let's see. All right, next up is Children's Advocacy. Will be followed by the Soil Conservation District.
Hi, my name is Samantha Prager. I'm the Executive Director of the Children's Advocacy Center of the 1st Judicial District. Our mission statement is to combat child sexual abuse and severe physical abuse by coordinating and providing services to children in a safe, caring environment. We are funded primarily by state and federal grants, a grant called VOCA, which is the Victims of Crime Act. I think you all have a breakdown of the budget there. So you can see that our revenue, the bulk of it comes from state and federal grants, also donations and fundraising. We get $10,000 a year from Speedway Children's Charities. And then there's a breakdown there from local governments, Unicoi, Washington, Carter, and Unicoi, United Way. Are there any questions about what we do? I know this is a topic most people would prefer not to discuss.
Johnson County, we can tribute.
Washington, Carter, and Unicoi. Johnson does not.
So we are included in the 15 right there with
Yes.
Unicoi and Washington.
Yes,
Okay.
because it was 5,000 last year, and that's what we requested again this year.
Yes.
And we provide forensic interviewing services, medical exams, trauma-based therapy services, and advocacy services for victims of severe physical abuse and sex abuse.
We're very thankful for your service and what you can do to provide for young people. I know there's, I'm sure some stuff that we would want to hear. We know you got a tough job.
It is. We received over 670 referrals last year, 184 of which were Carter County. Your all's numbers were actually really high for this past month. The bulk of that was from drug-exposed infant cases. So anyway, we're very glad to be here and just very glad to continue to ask for your support.
Thankful for your service, definitely, and appreciate what you're doing for our young people.
Okay. Any other questions? Again, I know it's not a fun topic, but nothing.
Only thing I gotta know, the only thing I want to know is are you seeing a downward or upward trend in the number of cases that you're seeing out there?
The face of child abuse is changing. There's a lot more technologies coming into play, a lot more, whether it is involving trafficking or just an exchange of photos, pictures. But yes, it continues to go up.
Well, let me ask you that. When you mention trafficking, I hear that almost daily, I guess, in news and things like that. What does that actually entail? Include?
Trafficking, the bulk of it is basically sexual exploitation of a minor, and that doesn't have to include actual physical contact. It could be a situation where there's a perpetrator in Alabama having contact with a child in our area, and there's an exchange of pictures, and then that person disseminates the pictures. And then it does go beyond that, and some trafficking situations are actually the parents doing it to their own children.
Understand, thank you. Anything else? Well, thanks again, very much.
Thank you.
You have the hardest job in the county, I think.
I don't know about that, but thank you so much.
Yeah, keep up the good work.
Y'all have a good night.
Yes, sir, and next in line is the Shepherd's Inn.
I'm here tonight, I represent the Carter County Soil Conservation District. I'm Mike Niderford, and I'm the chairman of that committee. The Soil Conservation District, some people think it only works with farmers. It works with any landowner in Carter County. We've worked with the city government, Travis, we've worked with the county government during the floods and different things that has happened over the years. We're not just a farmers organization, farm-oriented, but not just for farmers. Last year, we got, this thing working? Last year, we asked for 21.
Did it die?
I think it died, I don't hear myself now, but I can talk about enough so you can hear me.
Wait, let's, I think we've got an audience that may need to hear someone's word.
Can you hear me now?
We can hear you.
Okay, last year, we received about $21,000 from them. This year, we're asking for $32,000, and I'd like to explain the difference. We were contacted and have been working with the Tennessee Department of Agriculture and the NRCS, the USDA NRCS, and they have what's called a contribution technician or contribution agreement employee. In that, if we can contribute 1/3, they will each contribute 1/3 to make the salary of that person. And it's about a $30,000 deal. So that's the reason we're asking for the $10,000 increase is for an additional employee. This employee will be a Carter County Soil Conservation District employee and will work here in Carter County. We share a district conservationist, Jason Hughes, which is not able to be here tonight, but he works in Johnson and Carter. This person would be able to fill out the paperwork, work with people that are inquiring about projects that might be available and landowners that have things going on. He can oversee the work that's going on. It should help us be able to better serve our community and each person that we represent. The other $1,000 will be for other $1,000 increase will be for other office things that other expenses that we have incurred or are incurred. And did you get Rossi, did you get the new budget?
Yeah, we got
We did, okay.
I believe.
Because we filed it because we found out about this deal. Now, what do you get for your money? Well, last year for the community, we had a farm safety day and we worked with Terry and the fire department's Mr. Jones. Jackie Cable came and we had a farm safety night at a farm at my farm on Stony Creek. And we had about 125 people involved. The rescue squad and the fire departments were able to show what equipment they had. They made the people aware of what might be happening if they were involved in an accident, what to expect, and what they would be doing, and how they would be handling these accidents. And it worked out real good. We had a lot of people that really, I think they came away with a lot of new information that night. We also hosted, Carter County also hosted the Upper East Tennessee Soil Judgment Contest last year. And we had about 200 students that came to the farm and did soil judging at several different areas on the farm, different soil types and all the things that goes along with it. Mayor Barnett, I think you were there, and Sheriff Musser, and saw the students and how they conducted themselves. And I'll tell you one thing, we need to be really proud of those students. They conducted themselves as ladies and gentlemen and did a real good job, and I was proud of them. But we were able to feed them a meal, as we did with the farm safety night. We worked with UT Extension, we worked with, like I said, the rescue squad and the fire departments, and we were able, Farm Bureau, I think, contributed a little bit too. And we were able to feed the people a meal. And, you know, when you get that many people together, I think that we're making the community more aware of things that we're able to do. Now, projects that we did. We finished a project last year that was about a $450,000 project that we contributed $450,000 for. It was about a $1.5 million, maybe closer to $2 million project in our county. We did 5 additional ones that were through the TDA and the NRCS. That was another $70,000. So there's over $500,000 that we brought back into the community. And this year, we've already requested from the Tennessee Department of Agriculture $60,000, of which $39,000 has already been committed. We had our engineers come up and tour the county as far as the flooding issues that we had, you know, a while back. And there was not any programs that was available to help right then, but we went ahead and applied for emergency programs that might come available. So in the future, there might be something that comes up that we're able to help the county with, maybe roads or something, as we have done in the past. We want to work with anybody that we can to provide a service for our county. And we thank you for all that you've given us in the past, and we hope to be able to work close in the future. If y'all have any questions, I'll try to answer them.
Well, I know we spoke before, and you said this new position would really help out Mr. Hughes, I guess, that you have there, as far as allowing him to do more field work and be present for more people, and this be more type of paperwork or secretarial type.
Exactly. And in one of our adjoining counties, their total contribution last year was like $70,000. We spoke with the supervisor over this area, and we want to be more aggressive in things that we're able to do. And with this person, now that position has a cap of 30 in the state of Tennessee. And right now, all the positions are full. But we're waiting for one to come open so we can hopefully apply for that and be qualified for it.
So this just be applied to that budget?
Yes, sir.
Case, right?
Yes, sir.
And that is funded, I guess there's 2/3 other funding?
Yes, sir. NRCS, the federal money, and the state of Tennessee Department of Agriculture. And it will be contingent on the cap of the Tennessee number being 30.
What kind of return on investment if we was to cover $10,000 for this position? What could we look forward to?
Well, like I said, Travis, you know, one of our adjoining counties had $700,000 in total turnover. And I don't see why we couldn't come up with at least $200,000 to $300,000. You know, maybe not the first year, but just as we get our feet wet and we get more involved. You know, there's no reason we couldn't get the same as the other counties do. It's just a matter of getting the paperwork done, which we're shorthanded trying to get done.
Anyone else?
Any other questions?
All right, that's right. We appreciate everything you do for us.
Again, thank y'all for your support.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Gavanetti, and on that, Butler Fire Department.
I am Paul Gavin. I am the Executive Director of Shepherd's Inn. And we have a lot of new faces here, so say welcome. It's good to see you all, and thank you for the opportunity to come and make my little presentation to the committee. I want to first thank you for the gifts of the past. A few years ago, we had some tragedy as far as a scare factor come up, and we did not have enough money to take care of our monthly mortgage payment to Carter County Bank, and we got a little frightened there. Some angels of mercy came and helped us, and the next year I was knocking on your door and saying I need some help. And we were not asking for an increase, but we were asking for the same matches we had in the past so that we can pay our annual house payment, and that makes a tremendous difference in the operation for the shelter. Shepherd's Inn is the Carter County Elizabeth's only safe house emergency shelter for women and children coming in for emergency services as a result of domestic violence. And you know, it's like the child advocacy, it's not a pretty thing. Most of the time, these are people who are at the last thread of their life, and they're looking for some place or somebody to help them. The partnership we have with the Carter County Sheriff's Department, the Elizabeth Police Department, the 911, Department of Human Services, and Child Protective Services all work together with the shelter on a regular basis, and we service these people when they come night or day. Your shelter is one of the few shelters in this region that started out as 24-hour service. Since 1997, this is our 22nd year. In May, we begin our 23rd year. We've been 24/7. We've had somebody on property, and the police or the sheriff's department bring them in at 2:30 in the morning. We have somebody there to open the door and bring them in and help them. Sometimes we may have to call folks to come and bring the order protection information, as we've had in the past from our sheriff's department. They help us with that. I will tell you that your shelter, there's no question that lives have been saved because of that, and the partnership in this community has been immense, been tremendous. When you look at the last year in Carter County, I called, made a phone call, had 2 kids in there with mama, and they had nothing. They come with the things they have on their backs, pretty much, when the sheriff or the police department bring them to us. Called Carter County and made 1 phone call, and the next day, those kids had not just clothes, brand new clothes, and they were ready for school. So thank you for what you do for our school systems and for all these folks. And the numbers they change, as you can see. One year it'll be high, another year the number will be low. And the thing to keep in mind is when people come into the shelter, if they stay one night, one bed, that is considered 1 occupancy days. If a mama comes in with 2 kids, spends 1 night, that's 3 occupancy days. They really don't spend just that. Last year we had 538 occupancy days, which brought us a total of over 1,614 meals we served, and the list goes on. Advocacy, we're at the courthouse, we're with those women, we have somebody who volunteers. You have 1 full staff person, 3 part-time people who come in, and most of it's volunteers, right down to Dr. May, who comes in and does our volunteer physician's position. I think I'm very proud of the fact that your shelter is operating, and I thank you for, helping us through the times that we really have, and thank you for taking care of paying for our house payment each year. And of course, those are designated funds, and that's what they continue to go to. That's pretty much it. If you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer them. We have a budget that's very, very low, but it's because we don't have a food budget. I get the food given to us. We work with our community very closely, and we get the needs for our children, their mamas. And because of that, we have interns who come in. We had an intern last year come to us from Atlanta, from Columbia Seminary this summer. I have another, I work with East Mississippi State University very closely, and they also have interns come and work with us on a regular basis. So I have 1 coming in for the whole summer, again, to work with us. That's how we keep the budget low. That's it. Is there anything I can answer? Any questions?
You do a good job there, sir.
Thank you.
It's needed service.
Unfortunately, it is, and it would be nice if we could put a shingle on the door and turn it into something else, but it's not feasible, it really isn't. If any of you, especially those of you who are new, would ever want to come and see this, you just sign a confidentiality form, I'd be glad to set an appointment, have you come on property and meet with you and show you, firsthand. So if you ever want to see that, I'm happy to show it to you.
And it's good that you mentioned that you do operate, on anonymity in a very private level with clients or people coming in, don't you? It's not unknown.
State and federal law, we are not allowed to share the location of a safe house. And even in open court, the judge can ask, but I can't tell because of the anonymity of the house. I will tell you that in 22 years, we've never had an intrusion. We've never had anybody come on property and look for them. We thought we did a time or two, but it wasn't the case. So even though we're the proverbial needle in the haystack, we work very closely with the Boys and Girls Clubs and all these in the library and everywhere else, but people do not realize where the house is. And we have 3 or 4 addresses that if you see an address, that's not us. Okay. So works very closely with the post office.
I have a question.
Yes,
Is it only law enforcement or other agencies in the county that can recommend if a woman or a child needs a safe place, or can they just, how do you determine?
Well, when we get a call from 911, there is no evaluation. They're in an emergency situation, and the police or sheriff's department calls us, basically where we bring them on in. If we get a call like from the Department of Human Services, we have more background information, we have more time to do an evaluation, try to get a service profile developed before they come in if possible, at least have an idea of what we can do to help. We also work with Homeland Security from time to time. We also do, we've had people call us from different states. FBI have worked with us. We have had witness protection from time to time come in from other parts of the country as well. So even though we are here for Carter County, here for Elizabethton, we are serving also a broader spectrum as well. Like if some family member will call, sometimes they just call my home, or they call the National Coalition of Domestic Violence, the hotline, they will call us. We just get them in there if we need to. There are some evaluations, but frankly, if they have children with them, we try to get them in because if there's a need, whether it be a drug situation or whatever, we like to have them there so we can work with Child Protective Services and make sure those children care for.
And what is the maximum amount of time they're permitted to stay?
We can take 10 in and without making too many changes. And then we have flotation mattresses that go flotation, blow-up mattresses that go on the floor if we have to. We've done that some too. So we try to keep it around 10.
And how long can they stay once they're?
The policy is 30 days, but the board of directors, look, I've been doing this from the get-go, and they say use your judgment. When we work with Elizabethton Housing Development Agency and they're on a waiting list, I'm not going to kick them out there. You know, they're in schools. We're going to keep them right there and work with them, and if we need to. So that's we're flexible. In other words, policy is 30 days. Anything else?
Well, we thank you very much for providing a great service.
Appreciate you all very much. Thank you.
And I skipped over Parks and Rec. That's City of Elizabeth and Parks and Rec. I don't know if Mr. Estes or someone would like to speak on that. I know we've had Mr. Mays in the past, but I'm not twisting your arm.
That's okay. No, I would say I think that's atypical of Mike not to be here. So if you would, please give due consideration what Mike does on behalf of the residents of the city and the county. Again, I know there's been something going on here, not typically, he always is willing to come and speak to commissioners at any opportunity regarding Parks and Rec. So I'm a little surprised he's not here, so we'll catch up with Mike. And if there's any follow-up you have, please feel free to call me or call Mike himself and run that down. Again, my apologies on that.
Yeah, he's always been reliable in the past, I'm sure, so no problems there. There was a slight increase, I think, from last year's, but a lot going on, we understand that.
Thank you, sir. I'll be happy to pass on anything else or any questions you have. And if you shoot from the hip, that's always an interesting proposition.
If there are any questions, then, I don't know. I don't have any myself. I didn't know if you were representing the city.
No, sir, I hadn't expected Mike to be here. So again, my apologies on behalf of the city and Mike for not being here.
So the part that King Group was talking about earlier, that I totally forgot the name of.
Bimberg?
Yeah, no.
Yes.
Where's the city at? Are they looking at doing any funding toward that, or?
Well, interesting, we're right in the middle of our budget process as well, and we have Parks and Rec. We actually have a week off this week at the city council in for 4 Thursdays in a row. So we've been hard at work on our budget. We have a week off, then we have 2 weeks from now, Parks and Rec will be up, so we'll be discussing the prioritization of everything that's going on in the city Parks and Rec at that time. To be perfectly honest, I know there's a lot of priorities for the county and for the city. We look forward to working together in the Parks and Rec arena on an ongoing basis. That was a lot of words to give you a non-answer because it's not my place. I set policy priorities for the city. That's what city council does. I'd be happy to relay any information you'd like to city council. I think we're definitely open, to having a discussion about Gap Creek Park. I think it's frankly a matter of timing, and I'm interested to see what the county has in mind, generally, what the priorities are and where Carter County government's going in the Parks and Rec arena. And if we have a clear understanding on that, I think the city and county can find places to meet one another and move forward. So.
Yeah, I only asked, it seemed like it was up in the air on both sides, so I wasn't quite sure.
Well, I know from talking to Mr. Maines that there's a long list that the Park and Rec has the city with, projects that they have going on. I don't think it's at the top of the list by any means, but it's certainly on the radar, and I think something that we can try to, work together at some point, get things going down there, because I know it's how our market is.
I understand. I think that's accurate, Mr. Chairman.
And I think Mike and Ken had both talked, and that they wanted to set up a group that was specifically to do exactly what you said, between making sure that both governments came together on the Parks and Rec stuff, so.
Yes, sir. I know that that's been one that King Gooch has been very much interested in, as a separate board for Gap Creek Park. I think just have the door open to having a conversation about what matters. If county government and city government's talking to one another, if those representatives are speaking, then we can find a path forward to make that work. I think there's an opportunity there. And let me talk in broad strokes again, because I can't obligate the city to things. That's what city council does. So I'm not going to stick my foot with one of my bosses sitting right behind me. So I'm going to set the expectations pretty low. So, but let me say, I think there's an opportunity for us, since the city has operation and maintenance as part of our ongoing function. So there's some opportunities there. I think that would make sense for us, instead of the county taking on a lot of additional work to do operation and maintenance at Gap Creek Park, that the city could partner with the county to work on that. I think those details matter, just having that conversation and fleshing out what's a path forward, what's the plan. My observation has been, I think the next stage that I have seen, and I thought that was promising, was I think there's a design, a kind of feasibility or cost number that should be coming out relatively soon. I think that that's an important thing for us to kind of get our arms around, in my opinion, because then you have something to talk about, then you have a path forward. But ultimately, I think, to me, it's a function of what's the county's interest in parks and recreation generally? What's your vision? Where do you want to head as an organization? And what do you want to do for your residents? And then from that, you can look and see if Gap Creek Park and the layout and the options that are there and how you phase things in, all those things kind of fall into place as you continue to have the conversation amongst yourselves. And obviously, like I said, be happy to have a conversation with you, with the city. So.
Well, that's something we have to consider as well. Or we just operate as a board, we have no employees or anything like that. So
right.
Funding would basically be our way to really have balance in that manner.
Yes.
Anything else for Mr. Estes?
On Parks and Rec, I'll be happy. Anything else? Thank you.
Yes, thank you. That brings us to the Isaiah House. So, and Butler Volunteer Fire Department. And the RSVP would be after that.
Thank you, Commissioners, for allowing us to speak this evening. We are here requesting $25,000 for the fiscal year 2019-2020. We do appreciate the help that you all gave us 2 years ago. We are requesting this funds to help us to possibly acquire a new mini pumper. Also to try to recruit some more volunteers for us. We'd also like to put some of that towards training and equipment. Everything else kind of falls in line with the volunteer fire department that you've already seen. Right now, it's possible, Watauga Lake Resort Convention Center is going to be kind of in our backyard. So we're wanting to maybe get a little bit ahead of that, prepare for it. So we're just, whatever y'all can do for us, we'd be very thankful for it.
What did you guys use the funding for? 'Cause I think that was the issue we had last year. It looked like there was an excess in your revenues and your expenditures. I was kind of wondering if there was an excess, what you actually would use Carter County's funding for.
Right now, we probably have about an excess of $12,000. We've got some truck payment coming out. We like to try to keep about a $25,000 reserve. for any catastrophic damage to, an engine per se. Last year, we bought a new engine, and, or 2 years ago. And, we're still in the process of paying that off, and we have some older equipment, so we are really looking at acquiring a mini pumper right now. It's probably going to be our biggest expense.
The whole purpose of Carter County money is to help us pay the engine off quicker. That's the biggest thing. Our payments are about $7,000 a year. So if we double up on that, then we will be cutting the years down drastically. And that was our whole intent, to use the full amount toward the engine payment.
The new pumper, or the mini pumper that we're looking at, is going to range somewhere between $100,000 to $150,000.
I priced one the other day for $159,000. It's 5-year-old already.
Just say I appreciate the job you guys do. I mean, all our volunteers, our city fire department. Pulled some numbers from 911, and I'm not sure what y'all got in 2017. You got no money last year, but based off the number of calls that they had dispatched out and that you responded to.
Last year, we responded to about 37 Carter County calls.
32 to 37 calls last year.
Well, they got down that you had 22 calls and you responded to 14. That was dispatched out by Carter County 911. And here's all the call logs. Year before, you had 15 and you responded to 6. So basically, last year, if we give you $25,000 last year, that's $1,400 a call. And our departments are getting $365 based off the number of calls they got. So my question is, how come we're not responding to more calls? Why are there being so many non-responses? Just
Now, when we check in route with Johnson County.
okay.
So call center don't always see what we're doing.
Okay.
But we're there.
Right. Okay. I'm just checking.
We've been on scene for 30-something calls.
Right.
Yeah.
And I know that this resort company is going to give y'all some leverage. It's going to be very important because you're going to be less than a quarter mile from it.
But we've worked with 911 down here at Com Center to we try to get them on our frequency so they can pay just on our frequency. So our dispatch up there would know what's going on.
Okay.
When we did get paged out. But at the time, Com Center couldn't do that. They were in the upgrade of their communication system.
Okay.
We do have pagers. They have a frequency for us.
Okay.
When we get in the truck, sometimes our truck don't always communicate with Com Center. Ours definitely is, we're hard time up there to get out on the tower.
Kind of same with the city. I know they have a huge repeater on the west end of town to get it back up.
Right, and that's kind of our problem as well. So just because Com Center don't see that we were there, we were there.
Okay. Thanks for that.
And we can pull our cards for Johnson County.
Yeah, I have to log every call we go on.
Okay.
With
So Johnson County, they dispatch you all on Carter County calls?
Yeah, well,
Or do they
since
have to
we
call
didn't get
Johnson
funded last year,
Okay.
Carter County has been calling Johnson County,
And then
they've been paging us
Okay.
through that way.
Yeah, we're still running, calls for Carter
Yeah,
County.
we still run the calls.
Okay.
Even though we didn't get funded.
Okay. I appreciate it.
Two questions, if I may. One, I would like to see the Johnson County numbers, to add those to the Carter County numbers. And I think you're correct. I think that would give us a good.
Well, our call list last year, I logged in 92 calls. That was total. Because it goes through the National Fire Incident Report System.
Right.
So every call that I log in on, I have to fill out a report.
Right.
And it has to go to the state, which then turns into the federal.
Right.
And I logged 92 calls for this past year.
And I'd like to see I'd just like you to.
For the Carter County.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, well, I can do that.
Yeah,
I can do that.
And then the second thing is, do we currently, the Carter County or the volunteer fire departments of Carter County, have an MOU with you all?
Well, us at F Mills had one that we've done.
We've worked quite a bit for them.
Years. But as far as an up-to-date one, no.
So no mutual aid.
Now, when Barnett's, we were there. With Barnett's Gun Shop.
There was one when we gave money to them 2 years ago.
Correct. Yeah, she was, well, I know that we did have one.
I think the mayor has something to say.
Yes, can you hear me? I've been talking, you the chief?
Yes, sir.
I was talking with him over the phone, and they didn't get funded last year, there's some miscommunication. We had a kind of verbal agreement that they were still running to Little Stony, is that correct?
Yeah. The bottom of Little Stony is where we
All
said
that
that
Little
took the
Stony
map.
and back. Communication-wise, once we get things going at our Elk Mills, if we get that substation up there, that may help with radio proceedings there, but that is going to help with our, the ISO ratings up in Elk Mills up there, where they're a 10/8. There's some within 5 miles of the fire department, they're automatically an 8, but the ones outside they're a 10. So that's going to put them in that location where we're sitting there at Mountain Cove. That'll help with the ISO ratings there. Plus, if the resort's coming in, it'll be close to it. And these guys we talked about, they're going to be closer than probably anybody to the resort. We'll be needing them a lot. And as I told him, I said, since they're in Johnson County, we can't give them what we give ours. But I told him I would ask to give them half of what we give ours, because they're going to be responding to a lot of calls. And so that's what I told him I'd do, so that's what I'm requesting.
Our rating is 6 right
Now,
now.
our ISO rating is a 6 at this time.
And we're looking at lower.
Now, when we done our ISO rating, this was right before we done all the stuff with Carter County and dictated where the lines go and all that. My ISO man comes back this summer, so I'll be reevaluated again this summer. My goal is to go to a 5. That's why the newer engine was bought. I just hope that adding the 5 miles of Carter County to my coverage doesn't hurt me. That's my big thing. I hope it don't.
Ms. Collins.
You're asking us to give you 25 when Johnson County only gives you 20. Am I understanding that correctly?
Yes, ma'am.
Why?
Well, by for one, just home values. The Carter County part that right now that we cover, that we have to run each way, probably about $60-something million worth of property.
There's several $1 million homes right past the
Right in
fire
our
department.
backyard, right in our backyard.
Piercetown Community, Horseshoe Cove, Bear Ridge, Winnie Pines.
And then you have, this possible resort coming in that could be 20, 30, $40 million.
We're not downplaying anything. We know you guys are doing a good job providing good service up there, but the budgets are tight, and I hope you understand that. We realize that this resort could be coming up and could be great for both our counties and it'd be good for you guys as well. So just tough questions that we do have to ask.
That's fine.
Appreciate you guys.
That's fine.
How many volunteers do you have?
About 20.
And what's the year of the engine that you're purchasing?
The one that we just bought is a 2004.
2004, and that's considered in?
Within the 20, if it's within 20 years.
Yeah. And how long do you foresee that lasting or being, once it's paid for?
Well, I'm hoping when we have that paid for, to buy another one. That's a mini pump. And the one that I looked at was, like I said, was a 14. Now, of course, it might not be there when I'm ready to buy, but, which would be 5-year-old. That gives you 15 years grace period there. The ISO looks at the age. Anything over 20 years, you start going down in points. Everything goes by point system. The age of your hose, the age of your air packs, everything.
What kind of water supply do you have? You have lines up there?
Yes, right in the Butler area.
Right.
Now, on the main highway up in Johnson County, we have 4 off the city, Mount City. Yes, on 67. But Carterview Utilities has hydrants throughout Butler.
Just may go back to the mayor. Mayor, what are they planning on doing for the resort as far as water supply? I know that's gonna be a concern.
There should be, they'll put hydrants in, they'll be.
Is it gonna come from Watauga Regional, or is it gonna come from Carter Water?
That's what the plans are, and they're gonna have plenty of water, and when they go in there, they have to go by the rules are strict on that, so they're gonna have hydrants throughout that.
I just wondered if the thought of a possible aerial device, you know, that resort gonna be so big. You can get wind up the roads.
I would
Once they
say
put it off the
27?
yes.
Yeah.
Once
I'd
you
say-
cut a bridge? Probably not.
Yeah, it's mighty small going through the Cove Ridge. We went and took a look the other day. That's why we're thinking mini pumper might very well be your next purchase.
I appreciate you answering the questions. Like I said, I'm not against you, I'm just.
Sure.
I started talking to me about the number of calls, that's why I
got
did
you.
research to get the numbers. You can get those numbers like Mr. Grindstaff requested.
And I know what call we had an accident right there at the bridge. This was last year. The Carter County deputy could talk to comm centers from his car, but I couldn't from my truck. And they relayed that we were there on that call. Now, according to theirs, they probably didn't see me, but I was out.
Okay, well, I appreciate it. Thank you.
And like I said, on the list of all the calls I had?
No, Carter County,
Just Carter County. Okay, we can do that.
And we know great men and women, we thank you for that, and you take pride in your work, we understand that.
And we appreciate, the help.
Yeah, appreciate what y'all did for us.
Yes, sir.
Thanks. Thank y'all.
And the RSVP is next. That's the retired. RSVP, any representative? I'll move on to NETREC, Northeast Tennessee Regional Economic Partnership. Any representation there? And Arm? Ladies? Assistance and Resource Ministries.
As chairperson of ARM Food Pantry Board of Directors, I thank you for this opportunity to speak to you on behalf of ARM. My name is Liz Banks, and I brought with me today our new director, Faye Ingram. She is here to help me if questions get into details about everyday running of ARM. ARM Food Pantry has been in operation since 1991. It serves Carter County and only people who live in Carter County. It was originally formed by the Carter County Ministerial Association to give people in Carter County a central location that would supply for needs of those who are in need. And it was formed to do a specific task for the churches. It was a way to better help people and avoid duplicating services. At ARM, we are able to distribute food and clothing, and we are the largest food pantry in Carter County. We're located on C Street behind Ingalls. Community churches, individuals, businesses, and grants fund ARM. Toward the end of last year, we found ourselves in a financial crisis situation and have since been looking to keep the funding we have always enjoyed and to expand our funding in an effort to be able to serve the people in this area. What worked well in 1991 is no longer adequate. One of the big grants we've been able to get is a children's charity grant from Bristol Motor Speedway. They gave us $7,000 last year. We're very happy to have gotten $10,000 in FEMA money from United Way this year. We also got a grant for a large truck that will help us both pick up and distribute food to different areas. After we got the truck, it took us a year to fix it, to find the money to fix it so that it would run, but that's happening and now we're getting insurance. Before that, we had been using a truck that Faye owned. And we've recently asked Valley Health for money and are in the process of writing a grant to Bell Helicopters. We wrote an unsuccessful grant to Mountain Electric. Second Harvest and Walmart have been places where we're able to get food. At Second Harvest, we can get free food or food at reduced prices. Walmart has been giving us food, but has recently been giving much less due to a corporate policy change. We have had food drives. We've looked into refinancing our building. We are partnering with the Elks Club to receive produce from a garden they're planting this year. They got a grant to garden and give produce to the needy in Carter County and are using us to distribute it. We have a meeting that will happen soon with UT Extension agents and the Health Department to determine details on how to generate interest in and administer classes for better nutrition among our clients. We have fundraisers, Bojangles dinners, Applebee's pancake breakfast, ETSU mandolin orchestra concert, a community dinner, ARM extravaganza coming up April 6th, and a garage sale. We plan on keeping these up. I tell you this because I want you to know we do all this and we still need your help. We are asking you today for $2,500. We will take it any way we can get it, but we would prefer to be paid in monthly payments so we know we have an equal amount coming in each month and we'll be able to budget it as such. And I do want you to know we will be very grateful, very grateful. From May 2018, when we contracted a charity check to January 31st, 2019, 9 months, we served 1,205 children, 2,192 adults, 331 seniors. We have a total of 1,569 client records. We have given out 94 child vouchers for parents to buy shoes and underwear for children, and 2,850 pieces of clothing, 58 emergency food boxes, 20 homeless food boxes, 2,525 monthly food boxes, and 129 Thanksgiving boxes. We serve from 600 to 650 families a month. And I just got the February report. There were 637 families served, 1,414 people served, and 395 of those were children. Several churches and organizations in this area use charity check, which we use, and that's how I was able to give you such good data. With this, when someone comes in to get food, we can check to see if they've been to another organization with requests lately. The requests may be totally different from what we are doing for them, or it may be that they received food yesterday. We strive to be giving, but not in a wasteful way. We can also keep track of our business and see what we're doing and where the need is, and it's especially good when we're writing grants. ARM's new director is Faye Ingram, and she was our most dedicated volunteer. She and her husband have been at ARM every day it's open and many days when it's not, and they've used their own truck for years to haul food and clothing. We have 2 part-time paid employees. The other is Leonard Carver, our assistant director. All other personnel are volunteers, and we are always looking for more volunteers. We use Tennessee Seniors, we use Tennessee Promise Teens, after school. We use retired people who love to come. Our hours are from 10 to 5, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursdays. ARM is governed by a volunteer board which creates policy and oversees the general running of ARM. I'm not at ARM on a daily basis. Last week I stopped in when volunteers were asking what to do with a man who came for help and had a family of 11. 2 were grandchildren he was raising, and he was given food And then he said, I hope not to be back next month. I just moved from Virginia and I'm looking for a job right now. And we also hope for his sake that he won't be back, but we're glad we were there for him when he needed it, and we want to be there when he needs it again. As a volunteer and chairperson of ARM, these verses from Matthew 25 echo in my mind. For I was hungry and you gave me meat. I was thirsty and you gave me drink. I was a stranger and you took me in. Naked and you clothed me. Sick and you visited me. In prison and you came to me. And the kings shall answer and say unto them, Verily I say unto you, inasmuch as you have done it unto one of the least of these, brethren, you have done it unto me. We have a chance to make difference in lives. We are working for the good of the people in Carter County, and we know you are too. We hope you will be able to help us with this particular need. I have Faye to help me with questions. Are there questions?
Beth, I think you do a great job.
Good question.
That's, no questions, that's usually pretty good. So.
Okay, well, we've never asked for money before, so, you know.
I know you had an open house for us recently, and I know Ms. Woodley was there. She spoke very, very highly of that. Yep.
But I've had several people tell me to support you all.
So you guys
How many?
supported 3,721 people with meals?
Yeah.
We don't
Not
do
meals.
meals, we give food boxes, we put.
Right, so that's food boxes
and
that were in each
stuff, yeah.
one?
And they take it, prepare it themselves, we don't.
Right.
So those folks just come to your building and ask for your help.
They do, but we've got certain guidelines they've got to meet too, you know, they specifically have to be from Carter County.
Yeah.
We don't, there's others that comes in, but we can't give to them.
Right.
We barely have enough sometimes to feed Carter County, so
Yeah.
we can't take in other
We
counties.
know you're having plenty of folks in need, so.
But my point is that you served 3,728 on a pretty microscopic budget, so I'm definitely impressed.
We do have, we get big discounts. And food given. Yeah. It is impressive.
I think we can say that the Lord provides for us as well.
Amen. I mean, you guys are doing work.
Man, how much you asking for?
2,500.
Yeah.
2,500?
2,500, we're asking the same thing from the city, and we'll hope you'll work together.
Yeah.
Well, we thank you, ladies, for all that you do.
Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
You've done such a wonderful job in our community.
I have some things that I can pass around.
And I would personally like to invite each and every one of you to come to Board Review for the Arm Extravaganza. That is also my church.
That's
so
in
I appreciate
there.
it.
All right. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You got the rescue squad up next.
What do you have to put him up for first, or? What do you have to put him up for first?
Because I'm a nice one. Yeah, most of them don't have, I have to go with the director of the rescue squad. It's Terrell, the director of the rescue squad there too, so again, most I've seen before I get too. We apparently, we all get together, we keep having late hours, so everybody come to the building that night to have a meeting, the church, the meetings are too, from each committees are too. Thank you for coming, and again, I'll extend the open house, so if they won't come by, we'll have to give you a tour, but I'm gonna give you a tour at 11 o'clock at night, and anybody would stay that night, so. So again, we provide EMS rescue services for the county. We have since 1952. We're not asking for increase this year because when I attend the county commission meetings, I do listen to Brad on the state and general fund. So we try to be good stewards of the county's money. We use it where it lies in there too. But I would encourage you not to cut our funding, particularly for one reason. Listen, we keep encouraging for having recreational tourism in our county. The more recreational tourism we increase in our county, the more we will increase the need maybe for our services. We're seeing more and more mountain biking, of course, in our regions of our county. We didn't know they extended the trail. We're doing some training last Wednesday up Walnut Mountain Anybody knows what Frog Level is and Cherry Flats is on top of the mountain car too. They extend the mountain biking trails, I'm encouraging that too. And one section we found probably for about 1.5 miles on the way to be extracted is by manual removal. So no mechanized means, we have to carry them out by hand there too. So we average this year on track this fiscal year for about 12,000 transports or responses as far as the EMS goes. Rescues will be close to probably about 180 this year. We have increased each year rescuing people off Appalachian Trail. The 82 mile Appalachian Trail we have in our county, apparently everybody picks that spot to get hurt for some reason. Now we get hurt in Sullivan County, get hurt, and in Johnson County, they pick our region to get hurt at it too, so we have to extract them out then. So, and that's not counting lost people or people's being delayed, so that's what happens as far as rescue services. Again, I'm not going to extend my 10 minutes like I made Ross about earlier. If you guys have any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer for you or attempt to your satisfaction, so.
What do you all want us to do for the county? Are there anything out there that you're looking at down the road that, you know, you may plan for?
They had to come get me the other day here at the courthouse. I ain't got the bill yet. I'm just wondering what.
Well, I have to say when it comes to that too, we see people at their worst, when they're sick or loved ones hurting, and they love us. And then they get the first bill about 2 weeks later, we're not some nice people into, so.
You gotta understand behind the billing process, you know, I have so many people want me to, you know, cut the price on it, all this stuff. I can't because of the rules of Medicare and Medicaid and 10-care rules. You know, we went through a generation with our past rescue squad that it was, you know, everybody was volunteer. And, you know, they dedicated a lot of time, you know, and I have to bill them. And I have to hit every single one of them that we've transported, you know, comes to me, and usually they don't like me when I leave. But it's not us. We don't impress anybody, you know, if you make a $5 payment, we accept it and go on. But the computer systems and everything we have now, it's just like a ticket. When they pull you up, it's gone. I mean, it's in the system. There's no taking it out, which I don't know about everything else. But what would you like us to do? I mean, as more and more as you bring in tourism, the bigger we gotta get. You know, the place up at the resort, we've gotta respond up there. We gotta respond in a certain amount of time. And
that's what I was going to touch on.
Futures.
With this substation, possibly, you know, we've been told it's not going to cost taxpayer money, but the building donated, but it's going to have operational costs. If y'all put an ambulance up there with a staff, that's going to cost money.
I can tell you that, just in case somebody asks.
So I mean, Travis, just to, I guess to level this like that too, we didn't plan for this year like that too. But you're very right, the county commission being very foresight. I mean, that was also on expect services, i.e. water, i.e. sewer, i.e. fire protection, law enforcement protection, EMS protection like that too. And I'm not mentioning as much even the ingress, egress on Highway 67 421. I mean, that relates to these weekends in the summertime. You can imagine adding X number of people visiting that resort, and you're gonna have more traffic, more accidents, you know, like that too. And again, we have people that's here, it's just like us being on tourism somewhere, going to tourism like too, you expect if something happens, somebody to be there. So it's going to increase, it's going to tax our resources in this county, not just us, but, you know, TDOT, you know, wherever like that too. It's just what's going to be, you know, something to plan for like that too. And mayor's been proactive like that too, about trying to put something up there too, and hopefully build off of it too, so.
I'd like to say this, I have years to get something up there, because I feel they pay their taxes,
Oh, yeah.
just like everybody else. But I was always on the defensive side of the county commission. I had to defend everything I did. And I tell you what I want to do, and what you want me to do, I'll do everything in my power to make that happen. Because, you know, when you go out and you get somebody in a car wreck, kids, and you know they're tore all to pieces. We've got to have stuff to get them out. And, you know, we accept those people, you know, hold their hand until, you know, we get them out. They're dead or they're dead. And we stay with them. But we're not going to play on the defense in the squad. As long as I'm there, I'm not going to do it more. I want to be able to work with you. The reason we asking for an increase is that our association got together, just like the hospitals did. We pay the state of Tennessee so much money to receive money back. They cut our funds about 7 months ago, because when they first started sending this out, they was some services that was mom and pop. They took the check, they closed the station down that night and left with the cash. The state of Tennessee can't get that money back. So they stopped all of it, redoing the rules, cut our price from 149 down to 129. And we've been fighting legislature to get that money back up, but hopefully next month it starts back over. If we get that, we can still maintain where we're at today. Nothing can change as far as, opening the station up there in that hill. Because it costs us quite a bit of money, but it's what you all want. Do you want just somebody to first respond? Do you want a full crew, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year? Almost $300,000 to do that. How do you pay everything for 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? If you want to put one man up there rescue, it's $41,000. But there's future in there to cross-train. That's the thing. Get these people cross-trained and everything else to do what needs to be done. I'm not going to count words, but I just want whatever you want me to do, I'll try to do it right.
When they took me down, they was very courteous and very professional. And they done a great job. I'm proud of them.
Well, thank you, Roger. I mean, it's probably our way of doing business, but I expect my staff to treat our patients as it would be their mother, their father, or grandparents, whatever like that.
I was treated with respect and professionalism. They done a great job.
You won't realize how many people we save a week. You wouldn't be, you just be below that, Had a guy just, I can't talk. He was completely in cardiac arrest. He was shot. He's back home with his family now because of the quick response we had. And the team that, is highly trained to do this. Gave him all the medications, done everything. And he had to, they didn't have to take the tube out before he got the med center. And then he was raising a hand on us because we cut his shirt off. That was good, But it happens. That would be wrong. We don't publicize it. We don't try to gain anything back. But it's amazing how many people.
Well, I know, based on the photo out here, always as a firefighter, we always work well together. Police, fire, always work. I mean, people don't realize what a great group of guys we've got in this county that work on rescue calls, on car wrecks, on fires. I mean, everybody is always willing to help each other.
Well, we're lucky. I mean, the rest has been here, and I'll give you a hard time. I'll make a little joke about, we always go on break with hose draggers. They always make fun of the ditch doctors. But we're very fortunate in this community. We're always being a team. I got to give kudos to you guys. I mean, you just turned the table around the last couple of years, and particularly, we're up here now, and it's a proactive relationship. We're looking toward the future, how we can help out Elton Mills. I mean, even though we're really just an EMS rescue agency, we can also help the county move forward economically. But we've got to do it together as a group. The neat thing is, too, they're positive. They're not negative. They're not anybody asking mean-spirited questions. They're being very, very business-like. They're asking very good questions about people out, like their budget, how they purchase stuff. I mean, it's like us. A long time ago, I learned early on, like, if you want to manage somebody as far as our purchasing, I treat it like my own checkbook. Would I spend a certain amount of money if it's my own household? No, I treat it like that too, because if I mismanage my money, then my staff will not get paid, and our community not get served by our services. We're doing misnomers, so you really have to take it to heart and really be invested in what you do. And every agency you come here, I have to very invested in our community. When you sit back there and realize everybody's asking for money, and I know money is just tight. But we're very fortunate for what we have as far as public servants, or that servant mind, servant heart we have in our community. We're very lucky, and I hope we bring that close to them. So because, the big thing, and I want to hear like that too, I'll still funded from law enforcement. Like that too, we train when they leave. Same thing, young people hate to say it, I'm older, and I'm not afraid to admit it. But younger people see one thing, that's dollar signs. They don't care about car notes, they don't know what they're going to get paid now. And we're the same thing as the sheriff's office. We're a training ground, and they leave us. But we're fortunate to have people that live in Carter County that want to serve Carter County, and they will stay. And that makes a huge, huge difference in it. So,
well, based on your all profession, what would you all recommend when that station becomes reality? Would you recommend fully staffed 24/7 or a one-man crew?
What I would do, Travis, initially, what I would do, and what I recommend to rescues too, best physical mind for us and for you guys too, is start out first response. Like Terry mentioned,
we were always, for years, was wanting cross-training proposals got shot down, but, particularly the Elton Mills Committee is cross-training people not only in EMS, but also as firefighter to help out the folks in Elton Mills, because the folks in the Elton Mills Volunteer Fire Department, they can't live in a volunteer fireman, they gotta work outside the community, they work in Mount C, most of them work in Boone, and they can't respond an hour from Boone back to their activity. I mean, we're good to do stuff with them. Sometimes we take our engines out of the building because we have keys to their station. We let them have rescue trucks now for 2 years to do respond in that community. But what I'm gonna do first is staff that thing, at least, it depends financially. I might want to buy $300 of merchandise from Walmart, I got $150. I'm gonna buy $150 worth of merchandise. Maybe that first year when you open up the station is, let's say our 5 days a week, 10 hours a day. Or seven days a week, 10 hours a day, activity. What we can afford to do it. Because initially what's gonna happen, really, first part, make a huge difference or two. Because the ambulance, until that committee gets going like that too, chances is, if our county gets really busy, we have to pull that ambulance out and respond back to those other counties. I really can't leave an ambulance sitting in that community. If Ronnie needs an ambulance here in the courthouse, we just can't, maybe pull it back. If we do the same thing with Ronald Mountain Station. If we get really busy down in town, the lower zones, we pull the ambulance out, they stage at the station in Hampton, and then when everything there gets clear, they go back to the hill. So we do that too. That way, we hedge our bets on where our greatest response percentage is going to be for that call. Like that too. That's kind of dirty because we kind of know what time of day, what calls are going to come in. But that's what I recommend, because once that development comes in, I would definitely staff that for 24 hours a day. Because again, if you're going to spend money in development, people will come visit the thing, they will expect service. So.
Tell, what response time, how much time would it save having?
Well, and I mean, we look at this for years, this is something that Terry's wanted to do for years, to have somebody in Elton Mills. That's been because that's our longest response time. Anybody here in emergency services for any length of time has been around like that too. Isaiah, Travis like that too. Anybody else in County, had you from up in her neck that looks like that too. From our station to Rome Mountain, you're looking at 20 minutes. But you're looking from Station 3 to Elton Mills, you're looking at about a 20 to 22 minute response time depending on traffic. Well, if that truck is not in the Hampton station, you're looking from Station 1, which is Stony Creek Station, or Rome Mountain Station is pulled down, you're looking at another 40 minutes on that response time. That survivability is not very good. So that's the key as far as doing that. Another thing, we increase, hopefully, if we find out approved through lobbying, we're going to teach our own EMT class in-house. I've been a state coordinator for 20 years, and we have worked in community colleges, and we won't want to have to see it. I'll pick on it too. Isaiah's young, if he's my son, if I see him in Northeast State Community College and he spends 2 semesters to build life support on my ambulance, we're going to be out about $11,400 counting books, tuition, not to mention travel time, food, whatever like that too. But when we can offer that thing for almost 96% less than that cost, at least $800, I really count for my staff time, but just textbooks, insurance, we can say that too, and we can teach our own. So starting this fall, we'll do our own like that too, and we're going to give, we have to give purpose, we're part of the Beta department, have to be people from our catchment area, from our county, and we're going to do that. So we try to give things back there too, so.
Too bad to do that something in the school system where you could.
I don't appreciate that too, and again, nothing, everybody's like, politics gets involved, and really what's caused all this trouble is, and I'll be happy for the Tennessee Board of Regents after listening to, is that TBR has really pushed back against doing that. But one thing we won't do, I'm going to encourage high school students. What I'm going to do, I want to come to our program. We want to have it max at 15, but I want to come to my program. And then Kelly, she's a teacher like this too. What I want to do, I want to come to our program. We're not going to cost them Tennessee Promise money, because what they're getting is go to EMS and they hate it. They're part of Promise money up, and then they can use money to do something else down the road. If we can be good stewards of our money and be good stewards of the community, we can teach these folks. Let them see, they may love it or they may hate it. They may get into it and think, I don't want to be an EMT or paramedic, I want to be a nurse. But they can see that it gives them a chance. We don't burn our promise money down the road and go back to school again. So that's one of those things I plan on doing. So I hope to do.
Do you have anything new on that? As far as,
Well, I'll have to bring forth commission, the Title 3 money. I hadn't got, we're going through one, they asked us, they sent us a letter requesting the interest paid on that double wide in 1995 when it was registered. Mary Gooch looked for an hour and it's never been registered. It's not, there was no money ever paid on it, and if it had, it was tax-free anyway, it would have been to the county. She said there would be no taxes paid if they hadn't, but it's not registered. So now we're trying to see what they want us to do next. She said she could make a title for it and send it to them So we're waiting on this guy from DC to jump through that last hole, that loop, but that's all we got to do. They said it's going to happen, but they wouldn't, the interest, wouldn't know how much, if it's any interest paid on it. There wasn't no interest, it wasn't even registered, so we're waiting on that. It's going to happen, it's just, we're still waiting on
If
that.
Kim's ever decide to put something up there, once we put an ambulance, it has to have its security, the doors, because we carry a lot of the products on board. It's got to be secured, to be able to put that up there. So I don't know, what depth that comes to.
And the dirty has to be under control too, so.
But, the vehicles have to stay inside, because of all our drugs and everything else in them. So, it really gains a lot of money once you start the process. But, we start out small, the way I've done the squad and build it up what it is today. It took me many years to do that. But maintaining it now, it's,
The thing now is figure out on the front end, pre-plan this, we know it's more likely going to happen, so we just need to be proactive and figure out that.
It's better part of the reactive part.
I just think the residents in that area, I grew up there, that area, it deserves the same services that the rest of the county's getting. We have a school there, we have churches there, we have the boat docks, the marinas, it's needed at its time.
more and more you promote tourism from the rivers to the lake. I've seen a big difference in Watauga Lake since boom.
Yeah.
Hey, we're going up there at night, get people off the lake. We're, never hit the papers, we just do it. But there's going to be more and more instances, and, I'm at my level right now as far as people and train people. That's what costs so much. Our crew went out about 2 weeks ago and stayed overnight in Broadway. And, they had to go make their own shelter. They had to do everything. They didn't have nothing to take because if we ever get up there and something happens, we've got to provide for ourselves. But now they have got the best equipment I can buy to go out like that. I don't skip on nothing of that in somebody's life. So, if you've got any suggestions, well, let me know.
But one thing is to add for you, it's start like that too. Another thing about being practical like that too, it's probably like get our insurance broker, and I know we're all talking about insurance, and that's just a big, that's one of the things for our employees to be able to provide their health care insurance, because God knows it's not cheap to go to the hospital or even go to your primary care physician like that too. Turning to our broker, working on a deal, if I got approved with Department of Insurance in Tennessee, that we're working on a plan now across the state where all the EMS providers can go together as one big pool and get our insurance together, and hopefully,
And county police.
down the road, hopefully that will really reduce our costs like that too, because, that's one of our biggest cost to employees like that too. We're going to cut our contributions back the last couple of years to our employees, particularly on the employee plus one, the family, so we understand the county's paying as far as that too, so we're trying to be proactive in that matter too, and so I'll be good, and
It
I'll
took
have
us 3 years to get the approval from the Department of Health.
If you guys need any recommendations on brokers, we should have a couple of professionals.
I'd like to see some of that too, Michael. So I really enjoy your packet. I had to look over and smile at Dr. Aiken. I couldn't stand it when I said that too. So everybody's looking for someone to say health care insurance because it's a huge benefit for our employees. It's also a huge cost. Huge cost.
When we talked about that,
So
it's moving. It's going to the state in May. We'll meet in Nashville, Lebanon, and get the whole association. And then they did tell me it could possibly open up the firemen and county police officers.
something might help that.
Because they're in such rural areas, that's the way we built the program, and it may work. I don't know how long it may work.
So I'm sorry, that's been long-winded. I'll be good.
Anyway, you've talked too long. We do, relationships are improving. I can't say that. I know the time that I've been here and I've been.
Well, it feels good to be a partnership like that too. It feels good for what Paige said about that. We're trying for years and like that too, we have a great relationship with those folks. We love training them, love spending time with them because they treat us like, going to one unnamed remote waterfall up that neck of the woods like that too. If I were those boys, after a while, they don't have to respond as they do, I would never show up. But on Sunday afternoon, when they're spending time with their family, we gotta go down to that unnamed waterfall, they're there with us. So, for that matter. So, the guys, thank you for his times and ladies, I really appreciate it. Thank you for your contribution in the past and your help in the future.
Thank you.
Yes.
We need a quick break real quick. Is everybody okay? Or you want to go? We'll take 5 minutes real fast. Man with vocational rehab, if you'll come up here, please. Yes.
Oh, see,
Well, I know, we can hear you.
it takes hard on the software.
She informed me that she's been on the road since 6 o'clock this morning, if I'd have known that, we could
I have a 7:15 appointment, so they got me on the road.
We're sorry to keep you waiting.
It's okay, it's okay. I'm with the, boy, I'm laughing around. I'm with the Tennessee Rehabilitation Center here in Elizabethton, and some of you may have in the fall seen, we actually had a couple of really, really good news articles on our program. One with WKPT and one with WCYB, I believe, where we offered the National Center for Construction Education and Research certificate for some of our folks in the Northeast state. And we had 5 individuals go through the program, and all 5 graduated. And many of these individuals had special ed diplomas. And in this program, they were doing things like reading blueprints. They had to go to RCAM in Kingsport and actually perform safety. They had the saws, the electric saws, the drills, everything going. I walked in and thought, oh no, who's going to lose an arm? And that was part of their certification, was they actually had to put to practice what they had learned in the program and read blueprints, do measurements, the whole 9 yards. I have a master's degree and I looked at the book and thought, I couldn't do this. So, and it's actually something that's a couple steps down from what you guys know as the work keys that industries like Eastman, places like that are utilizing. So we're hoping, this was a bridge grant that we used for this, but we're actually working with RCAM to provide this at our center as one of the training opportunities for our folks. We're also looking more at where instead of bringing contracts necessarily into the center, because that's not integrated. We'll still do that some for training, but we want to see folks going out to the community and actually working at that work site, so that we're acting sort of a temporary agency capacity, and the folks are learning the training on the actual work site, and then hopefully will be offered a job if they do well. So we're trying to integrate that with our community TRC program where the work comes to us and they work on contracts there. But once we feel that, hey, they need to take that next step to have them work in community-based employment. That's through us. So we're trying to do numerous things like that so that we're not staying stagnant. We did request more money this year than we have in the past. And the reason being for that is our TRCs are funded through your local dollars. That's the way it was set up by the legislation back in the 60s. And the Elizabethton TRC was one of the original 10 of the TRC system. There's 17 in the state right now, but there have been many that have shut down over the years. So we've been very fortunate to have a TRC here in this area. We're working with Carter County school students who come into the TRC daily for training. Johnson County, for the first time in like 5 years, came in this past summer for training during their summer break. We have Elizabethton High School students that come in every day. Then we have adults. Anyone with a disability can come to us and receive training. We had, through our programs at the TRC, more than 70-some people go to work last year, which is a great, great thing. But the state has asked us to try to bring in that full match that we need to operate the center, which for the Elizabethton Center, it's like $137,600. So we requested an increase up to $41,000, but that would result in an additional $95,666 in funding to the TRC. It's a 70-30 match. Questions? That was a real quick spiel.
We'd love to see you guys come and tour us. I think I said that last year because we're really, really proud of the things that we do. And we actually, with our labor and workforce partners, we're going to be hosting the Elizabethton Chamber in September. October is National Disability Awareness Month, but we're not going to be able to do it right in the month, so we're going to be doing it in September, trying to get more folks out so that they can actually see what we do.
Maybe we could get out there.
Where are you likely located at?
407 Cherokee Park Drive, almost across the street from Valley Forge Auction.
Okay.
Everyone knows Valley Forge Auction. So,
Yeah. And you're Miss Ray?
yeah, right up from the recycling center.
Or Mrs. Ray?
Yes, I'm Sandy Ray. I'm so sorry.
You may have said that, I don't know.
I was the TRC manager up until October, and I moved into our regional supervisor position. So right now, I'm filling the training center manager position. So that should be advertised here in the next few weeks. So if you've got any candidates, send them my way.
You got some contact information at Nashville, we were billed twice, 17, 18.
Yes, I think I talked to you maybe. Did they not fix that?
We didn't see anything.
You don't know.
We haven't seen anything.
I sent that into our Nashville office and resend me that, and I will resend it again because you guys paid twice.
And it was, because I dealt with the portion I think Brad has to do, because when we noticed we paid twice, we tried to get a refund back, and there was no one in the
And
whole.
I sent it to Nashville to my supervision chain. They were supposed to be checking on it. I never heard another word, so I made the wrong assumption that they had taken care of it. So I can resend that in to Kevin Wright, who is our Director of Field Operations, and he handles all the TRC funds. So just send me another email about that, because I know it was throwing things on y'all's books.
We appreciate you for all you do for us.
Thank you, guys.
Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm gonna let Mr. Johnson go real quick. I think he's got something important he'd like to say to us. You'd like to step to the podium, Mr. Brian Johnson.
Anything to have that Corinthian level. Thanks, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
What I want to address, since this is a workshop, is related to Northeast Tennessee Regional Economical Partnership. Now, there's one thing for sure I can guarantee you, they don't want to do the table and tell me what to do, because they literally have done nothing. We have right now, if we invest on what they have asked us for this budget year, we would have invested $120,000 for the assistance of the Economical Partnership, that is by Mr. Mitch Miller from the Economical Director of Washington County, and it covers, the partnership is with Unicoi and us. There is only one time this gentleman has ever stepped in this chamber. And I would say the new elected have never seen it before. And it was to tell us their great and glory. Since the time that they were organized, the administration prior to the ones seated now, we were sold a bill of goods and the majority ruled. It was to invest in this partnership, even though they were not permitted. They were not insured. They didn't have any permits whatsoever or recognized by the state of Tennessee yet. And we went ahead as a majority and done it. Since then, never before this commission. There is not a commissioner seated in our commission to tell you that have done one thing to promote economic development for our county. Now, we have two major manufacturers here that are in the process, or upcoming process, of expanding. One is the McDonald Group, and the other one's to my south, Snap-on Group. And then we have three national chains in the community store line, Dollar General. All of these improvements in our county and city were done by the city and county employees and citizens, not Northeast Tennessee.
They are an organization that is a caboose. Once somebody does it, they come and tie on the end of the train and tell me, look how good I am. We can do more with that $40,000 and make more return out of it than invested in this group. Sir?
Is the city with that rep?
No. Well, they're in the county, but they have their own economic development.
You provide some of your own funding.
We also fund that rep.
Yeah.
That's what I was saying, I was just trying to see if they had any feelings.
So and on the workforce, I mean, as far as they're concerned, I'm asking you in the workshop session here that we step down from the partnership and we do not fund this budget.
That's certainly something to consider. I know before with Carter County tomorrow, we were in that transitional, that umbrella phase there, trying to get out of that. I think that's when this seems like a good idea here. What do you recommend, Brad? What else we talking about?
We're doing pretty good as long as they keep John Hartman at work. And as long as we keep the Chris Shooters at our planning commission. And then our private citizens that go in and invest and convince and move other in. What do you invest? They tell you 4 years running out, you have no property for development. Yeah. Okay, well, how you gonna move industry if you ain't property? Suspended. So, and that's all you get preached at.
So I know John's not here, but I was gonna see, Daniel, do you guys see any kind of, any good results from that rep, or how do you guys share on that hill as well?
That's a loaded question. He's not in a position to give an answer like that. Go
ahead, Fred, give it to him.
That ain't very smart. I would never love that.
Didn't mean that a loaded question, didn't think that was at all out of line, so.
Well, watch him stand around and give you the answer.
Let me get permit me a moment to give you a very well-reasoned and defined non-answer. Let me say, on behalf of the city, I very much appreciate the opportunity that the city, myself and Mr. Hartman and the city council have had to work with the county commission. And I want to thank Mayor Barnett and Chris Schubert for their efforts when we've worked on the Snap On project. Something's coming up, we can jump at a moment's notice. You jump the truck, you jump the car, and you run over there and you see what's going on. And I appreciate the lines of communication that have worked well between the city and the county to move that economic development forward. I mean, I know it's pretty easy when it's the biggest no-brainer in the history of Earth to do it, but we still had to get on the same bus together to make it move forward. So that's my answer.
I'm trying supposed to know they're not allowed to talk about things.
What's his position?
I thought it was the manager.
But that's exactly right. You asked the question like that. Give me a break.
Sorry for this morning.
Okay, anyhow, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, you're welcome. I really don't know what to say. There was an email sent out. I think Chairman Lyons had sent something out that Mike Keller forwarded on. I printed a few of those, not enough for everybody, and kind of passed it around. It's got some numbers. I mean, it shows improvement. It doesn't show specific, exactly how the numbers affected Carter County. It just shows the increases, basically.
Mr. Chair, that one where it gives at the very top right corner where you had the labor force.
It's got labor force.
1,190. This is the biggest accumulation of propaganda you've ever seen. Take that, divide it into the amount of income the state's brought in the county. That averages up to $90-some hundred. These are all part-time jobs, regardless of whether they were in position or anyone was. It has changed like Walmart, Lowe's. They have seasonal part-times. These are not full-times. These are part-time. It doesn't. Northeast Tennessee didn't even cross the border or not any influence whatsoever. Like I say, they jump on the train when somebody else put the facts. If you don't believe it, pick up your today's John City Press and read all of the information in there as far as the workforce of the upper part of the state. You'll notice that we have very limited entry. It's all concentrated into one place. And guess where that place is?
Y'all see it.
Well, gee, really?
I understand that, I'm just providing that information. Hey, I'm not taking anybody's side here, I want to be on Carter County Liz Trenton's side every time. So, and I'm not trying to back up Mr. Miller either. So, but that's something we have to consider, you know. Well,
Unless you're, the only thing is nobody can prove me wrong because you've had no record.
yeah, I agree with you, Brad, I'm not saying.
I understand, I'm not arguing, I'm just saying, anything else with budget, show me that.
Well, they have a board of directors, and we've got no representation, I don't guess, on that at all.
I go to the meetings.
Okay, well, what can you say, Mr. Mayor, anything to add, or, I mean, you hear Carter County spoken, and these gentlemen?
I saw the email that Mr. Hill put out, and my response was, they said, oh, we wasn't presenting information to you guys. My response was, I thought they worked for us.
Right.
They should give us the information instead of us going to them and say, what have you got? And that was my response. They work for us, but they should be a monthly report come out, and we shouldn't have to go asking for it. I mean, that's not me.
Yeah, I mean, like in your talks, or, you know, they've got these projects coming up, you hear things that, I mean, even with the Watauga Resort project, in some way that they can help, or that's something that they can, you know, generate some funding for. I don't know.
They've not. So, I actually, every time I always say, I feel like a little fish in a big pond, because they're always talking about what's going on over there, you know, I mean, and I tell him, I said, you know, I just don't feel like, when he asked me about giving information, I said, what do I give? I mean, I didn't know what to give because they didn't help us on Snap-on. They didn't help, I mean, and on the project up there, so they've not helped any. I mean, so I don't know what they're, I mean, you know, I don't know where they're at on that, but like I said, they work for us, we shouldn't have to go to them, but I mean, I'll go with every way you guys.
Yeah, and I'm not, once again, taking their side, but maybe that's at that time with Snap-on, that maybe we should have said, hey, Mr. Miller, this is something coming up for us, and we're going to think it's going to be great, that we need to pursue that. So maybe we should be better if we continue to go forward with this, to make those decisions. Put some pressure on them.
They were in the talks of all this stuff, but,
Just how?
They were in the talks, but, by hearsay, but they said that they could help, after we've got everything worked out.
Yeah, right.
They said they could help, up there. We don't need their help now, because it's all worked out. I mean, Chris Schubert, he worked hard on this, I mean, I think, between him and John Hartman, like Mr. Johnson said, they've done about all of it, so, I mean, I'm going to their meeting this week, I've got a net traffic meeting this week sometime, and I'm going to voice my opinion when I go there, that I don't feel like we're getting what we're paying for, but I'll do whatever you guys want me to do.
Yeah, yes, sir, thanks. Isaiah?
One thing, I can't remember when the last time that they were here, I just remember that the last time that they did come, we had to extend an invitation, and they finally came. And one of the things that Mitch discussed was, you know, how if we had any projects, we could contact them, they would look at, you know, providing assistance. And one of the things that they quoted is, you know, that they had done in the past was the Washington County, Johnson City little joint venture that they had done, the many blocks that they had created to bring in jobs and all this other stuff. And they had given so much money, I can't remember the number, given so much money to that and some of the other stuff. And they used that as examples of what they can do, you know. But you're right, we haven't heard from them in a year, maybe. You know, next county commission meeting or so, I'd like the mayor to, mayor's in the meeting, I'd like for you to extend the invitation for them to come by. It is budget time, you know, it's time for what we're doing, just to see what we do.
So they didn't even approach the budget committee last year, according to Chris, they didn't even cut it off.
Yeah, well, again.
They made another $40,000 with nothing. I mean, they didn't even have to deal with it.
Is that a yearly? Was it yearly?
Yeah. So we have that ability to take that funding away. Okay. All right, let's move on. Kids Like Us, we need one here for Kids Like Us. See Mr. Hicks out back there with Imagination Library.
Best collection.
Yeah.
I told him, hurry, Pat, you went to bed at 9 o'clock.
I normally do, Ronnie.
You knew what you were getting into by coming to this,
Well, yes, I did. I want to thank you for the service you rendered Carter County. And I want to thank you for supporting us last year during a difficult budget cycle. And I am Patty Hicks. I'm representative of the Imagination Library here locally. We are an affiliate of the state organization, and we provide books to children from birth through age 5, free of charge. And we're actually in partnership. Dolly Parton's Imagination Library Foundation chooses the books, buys the books in bulk so that we can get a better price, and mails the books out to the children we send in. Now, we're billed for the cost of the books. And we are expected to pay half of that cost. And if we meet our projected enrollment, which we have every year to this point, we receive matching money from the state of Tennessee. The bottom line is we pay half, locally, we pay half the cost of the books. And that amounts to over $20,000 per year. Our local cost is covered through fundraising that we do, grants that we have written, and also generous funding from the city and county government. And we hope you can continue to fund us. And if you have any questions, I'll try to answer them. Anybody?
Any question for Mr. Hicks?
So all you're asking for, Pat, is 5,000 this year?
Yes. We'd like to be funded in the same amount we were last year. That's $5,000. Any other questions? Thank you. Thank you. Good night.
Thanks for sticking around. All right, I don't think the honor guard, we got anybody from the honor guard?
There you go. There's nobody here that somebody wants to speak on behalf of.
It sounds like you're speaking up.
Huh?
I know they came to the commission meeting last month, and they spoke to us, or Mr. Duggar did. The 17.52, I think, is the number, something like that. Is a much more substantial number than I thought that we were going to get ourselves into. I'm not saying it, it's not a worthy cause at all, but just a large number.
Well, it looks like they need 19,000, they get donations for 17,000.
I have to look at that sheet.
And then they get postage like, they got an income of 19 grand.
And everybody's going to
Total expenditures 15,720.
They got a breakdown of everything it costs for the uniforms and laundry and everything and stuff like that, the gas, vehicle maintenance and everything, and asking for $15,720.
No, that's expenditures. That's total expenditures.
Oh, yeah, total expenditures.
I'm probably reading this wrong, but it looks like they're maybe asking for like $400 a year.
Brad, can you help us out on that, please?
I can't make out what it's saying.
I know when I questioned Mr. Green that day, he thought 10,000 from us and 10,000 from the city is what they would need.
Is how much?
Cleaning and laundry.
10,000 from us and 10,000 from the city, what they were asking.
That'd be all right.
Okay, good call.
Cleaning and laundry.
I was some students downstairs that need this total 50, which is what he's estimated up here.
I got you.
That's it's that way.
So that's basically, that's his expenditures, or does he actually have a request from us that he's
That's the
asking?
same as that.
15. We'll need to clarify that. We don't really know. I don't know. Well, let's certainly get that We get the Juneteenth Friday. Yeah, that's right. I understand. I was actually here and saw it coming in there, so, I'm not sure if they fought by any means, but, if we can just get that.
He's got a note on here, says uniforms, this is what we need to bring this unit up to date. Your proper military attire required for military funerals. The uniforms that also include shoes, gloves, insignia covers, and alterations. $1,000 per member presently, for the 11 members that presently attend, total $11,000. Cleaning and laundry, $400. Yeah.
So Mr. Treadway, go ahead and get ready for that as well, if you want to put that. But yeah, I mean, it certainly were because I've been to those funerals, and that it is a special, sight, and I'm sure for families, that's a great, burial service, and something nice that they do provide. We do need to consider it. I don't know if 15 is the number or not.
We got me and Brad, and Brad over here.
Yeah, and I'm not taking that away at all, but
I don't think they're needed every year. I just think it's they're trying to get their feedback.
just
Yeah.
going.
They have had to go like a little bit.
Yeah, we appreciate it, no doubt about that. So we'll move on, and say the best for last year with the city fire department. We got some representation.
Let you know.
Thank you, Chairman Garber, members of the Budget Committee. I'm Daniel Estes. Thank you, Mayor Barnett, for the reminder. I am Daniel Estes, the city manager for the city of Elizabethton. Thank you for your time. We're now in 3 hours and 32 minutes. So
We've been in longer, so.
I understand. We've had, have to laugh and say we've had 4 workshops on the city budget already, so we feel your pain. I know you have requests from the city for funding, but since this is an additional request from the city, I thought it was appropriate that I show up and make the request myself. Of course, I have Chief Carrier here with me and Councilman Treadway for support. Once we get into, if you have any technical questions that we get beyond my depth, I'll definitely be deferring to Chief Carrier on that. If you've had an opportunity to look over the request, I won't bore you by completely repeating it, but the short version is, if you look at the reasons why, you can look at some very short, easy statements there that I try to be succinct about. If you look at it from a county taxpayer's perspective, the county supports fire departments across the county, and that's a good thing, and rightly so. Having been a county resident, back in the day in Jefferson County, and having a fire department that was supported by the county government, I appreciated that. And saw the fruits of their labor when my grandmother's house caught on fire, so I appreciate that work. But if you look at the taxpayer's perspective from those county taxpayers in the city, they are supporting every fire department except for the one that covers them. So from a fairness perspective, that's one way to look at it. If you also look at property values, pulled some data from the assessor's office. If you combine the commercial and industrial property in the county, both personal and real property, the Elizabethton Fire Department covers 2/3 of that value. So we provide a great service that protects the lives and property with the Elizabethton Fire Department. That's a big part of the county's tax base. I'm sure if you asked Chief Carrier, we'd be very proud to tell you that the Elizabethton Fire Department has an ISO rating of 3, and they've worked very hard to get that. And the county also gets a great benefit from that as well. You know, a number of county buildings, 3 county schools are covered by Elizabethton Fire Department and our 3 stations. And I think you've already heard it, so I'm not going to beat it to death, but I think our fire department has a good working relationship with the rest of them in the county, and likewise, we've been happy to help out during mutual aid, and they've helped us as well. If it's the Barnett Gun Fire, or if it's here with North American Rayon, I know everybody from everywhere showed up to help the city on that. We appreciate that, and there's a professionalism and a camaraderie that goes with that I don't personally experience because I'm not a firefighter, but I see it in the staff that work with Elizabeth Fire Department, so we appreciate that. And you've already heard the 64-hour class that was put on. I got the opportunity on that Saturday. I was actually out working that Saturday, coming into town to look at the flooding that was going on. But Carter County had folks that day over in Pine Flats at the Pine Flats Fire Department doing a live burn exercise. That was the conclusion of their 64-hour class, and I know our folks had a lot of fun and appreciate the opportunity to show off their skills in the training side, and we're very happy to provide that service to the county fire departments. As you see there, 25 firefighters completed that 64-hour course. So that's the relatively short version. I'm going to be even more brief and say the ask is for the Elizabeth Fire Department to be considered for equal funding as the other fire departments are in the county. It's our intention in the next fiscal year or two to be looking at replacing, make sure I get this right, Barry, a triple combination pumper, a fire apparatus, aka what's called a pumper or a fire truck. If memory serves, Greenville bought one recently. It was about $450,000. That's what we're looking at replacing. If the city undertakes that, we would be borrowing the funds to purchase the truck, so that if any funding that the county could provide would be applied to that fire truck. So that would be the fruits of your labor, and the contribution would go to that. So that's the short version. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
Question for Mr. Estes. I've been told that there was past funding before provided by the county. Can anybody clarify that, Mr. Treadway?
That is correct.
Any number or date on that?
1998 to 1999 were the 2 fiscal years. I've got the documentation. Actually, Mr. Treadway found it and provided it to me. I got it in my packet of stuff there. I believe it was $30,000 for those 2 fiscal years.
For both years?
Yes, there were 2 fiscal years in a row there.
Was there any reasoning behind just 2 years?
Way before my time, so I'm not in a position to answer that question. That's okay. No, that's a fair question. I just can't give you an answer to
I just gotta make sure they're all good.
You gotta go through Brad first.
I'm asking the question. That's for the second turn. He said the second.
Any questions? I mean, this kind of, I think, caught a few people off guard. I know, it just came out in the paper one day and all of a sudden there's $59,000. And I understand what we're providing the other departments, and I see the number and everything, but I think it just caught some people off guard. And certainly we all want to work together, certainly, city and county, and improving relationships every day, I think, with, new positions and things like that. And, we want to work together, and we can't give any kind of definite answer right now. We're going to have our work to do to wrap our heads around this, and for all these, not just this organization, but with some of the stuff we've got to consider, and make tough decisions. And we certainly want to do what we can to help.
Understood. And I appreciate that, and I appreciate your time and consideration. I know it's tough to build a budget. Trust me, the shoe has been on the other foot, and it is on the other foot, so I know how that goes. But please do take time to give due consideration to the reasons there. I think there's a reasonable argument justification for it, and you will see a good return on your investment. And we're happy to be a partner with the folks that we work with on a day-to-day basis. If it's Elizabeth Fire Department, Elizabeth Police Department, working with the fire departments across the county, we're working with the Sheriff's Office. And they're all working through 911 for dispatch. We're all on the same team. Again, my emphasis would be to you to consider those county taxpayers that are in the city and the value that they're getting for their tax dollar. And I think that's something to consider. And one thing I did want to say, I meant to say this a minute ago, and it's completely changing gears, but I want to again commend Chris Sheeler for his work and his help working on the Snap-on deal. I don't know that we could have gotten that deal done if the city and the county not get together on that. that was imperative for us to make the deal happen. It's the funding, but it's also the relationships that you have to move something forward. That's what made it go. We've all had our parts to play. And, we've been working on communication. I'll admit that. And I will give the mayor credit. If he needed to know something and needed to have an answer for it, by golly, he'd pick up the phone and call me. Because he's got my cell. I'll be like, hey, that's just what are you doing? What's going on with this or that or whatever? And we'll be happy to run it down. And likewise, with him. So I appreciate that. Again, that's completely unrelated to the request that's before you. But if you have anything else on the fire department, I'll be happy to answer. If you want to throw any technical stuff at Chief Carrier, I've got him here, made him sit here this whole time, so you can hit him up.
What are some numbers, rough numbers of you guys helping us out in the county? It's, for certain things.
Rough numbers for.
I mean, it's actually like going out on calls, that
You
are out of your jurisdiction.
Mutual aid to others.
Yeah, mutual aid, I guess.
Help me out there. I'm what? 5, 6 times a year? Half a dozen times a year. But when it happens, it's a big deal.
Yeah, I understand.
We don't need it a lot, but we do need it. And you guys need us, we need you. I think more than anything, what Mr. S has been kind of stressing, is the relationships are there. And they're solid and they're strong. It's because we work hard to keep them there. And it's very important that we do that. So I don't think you can, if you put a number on the number of calls, that's a value you can measure, but I don't think you can measure the value of what we do together. But it's just not measurable with EMS, the police, or the fire. It's just not measurable. You can't really put a number on that.
Yeah, and I'm sure you've got employees that are part of these volunteer fire departments as well.
Oh, yeah, all kinds.
Yeah, me. Yeah.
As a matter of fact.
We got you now. So.
I will say this, the 64-hour class did benefit the county guys a lot, and we put a lot of work into that. But it benefited us too, because we got a chance to work with some of those folks that we hadn't had a chance to work with before. And a lot of those guys they're going to step up. When we start hiring, that's the first place we're going to look at, because now we know them, we know what their capabilities are, and I see that relationship growing even more over the next few years. So,
and those connections are already there. I mean, Chris Isaacs, I think, is the chief at Hampton, and he works in the code enforcement and the build department for us. Chief Shaw's, what was he previously the chief for? He was police chief in Stony Creek.
Yeah, he was like Mr. Jones, he represented the volunteer fire departments before.
Right.
So we're all the same people.
You are us and we are you,
yeah,
and all y'all and everything else.
It's hard to put a number on that value, but I'll tell you what I will do. I'll go back for last year, and if those numbers are even off from around half a dozen, I'll call you back and let you know.
Okay, sure. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I won't linger if you have any other
Mr. Treadway, thank you for speaking.
I don't, Daniel's when he's ready for the presentation. Did a great, I'm sorry, I'm Jeff Treadway. I'm city council and former county commissioner in the 2nd district. I guess I'm the one that's kind of pushing this request because at one time the county commission did provide funding to the Elizabeth Fire Department. I was on the commission at that time. And it was a request, the fire departments put together to get a sort of a bulk discount for the fire trucks that they bought in 1 year. And at that time, the commission decided to also give the city the same amount as they did the volunteer fire departments. And the argument that I make for this, and I want you to understand, as a county resident who happens to reside in the city, when I pay my county taxes, none of my county taxes goes to support my fire protection. If I live only in the county, you know, my taxes would go to support my volunteer fire department. So that's my argument, that, I mean, if we were the Elizabethton Volunteer Fire Department, I guess we could get an equal share.
Yeah.
But because we're not, and the reason we have the fire department we do is because we pay city taxes. And as a matter of fairness, I guess, for those residents who live in the city, who are county residents paying county taxes. My county taxes goes to support all the volunteer fire departments, but none of it goes to support my fire protection, and that's been my argument. So, but I just like for you to say
And
that.
of course, there's a couple of us on this commission, me being one of them, I think Ms. Collins did, are in the same position, you know, pay city and county costs.
Exactly. So, you know, when you write that check to the county, you're supporting everyone else's fire protection, but not your own. And I think, yes.
Do you remember, Jeff, when you talking about the motivated group of fire trucks?
I think that's right.
That 30,000, was that the allotment that each department got over
Yes.
yearly?
No, it was
Allotment or just specifically for the fire trucks?
No, it was one share of what each fire department got. I've got that.
It was 33,000 for 1998, 1999.
33.
It was 1997.
Which we built a station in 1997,
was 17 or 20.
a ladder truck and an engine through.
That up the allotment to firemen to cover the truck payment for all and they put it in the city. I don't know why it stopped. I wish I did. The only thing I could come up with is that the city didn't formally make a request. That's the only reason why it's stopped. So, again, from my standpoint, as a county resident, not as a councilman, as a matter of fairness. Thanks.
All right, yeah, thank you.
Thank you all.
All right. Yeah. And you know, no guarantees on this, and we'll certainly try to help out. We don't want to hurt ties or anything like that. You know, if something does happen, we understand, and we'll certainly take it into consideration. Thanks for sticking around. And you know, it's something I'd like to see in the future, and it's been thrown around a little bit. I don't think City Council, County Commission, you know, Finance Departments that really ever sat down and say, hey, you're paying for this, we're paying for that, and see kind of where we are on numbers. I think within the next year or something, it's probably something we should consider. Maybe take a look at it and really see where we stand, you know, how we can help each other out most efficiently and effectively. So, what else we got? Thanks for staying, everyone. Anybody from this committee, commissioners over there in the peanut gallery? But we will meet again. I guess our next meeting will be Monday, and that will be our scheduled budget meeting. I guess follow with the budget hearing, or we can go vice versa, whatever. And as for now, we'll put this budget hearing into recess until we pick up on Monday. Thank you.